but it seems they actually decide to let it go through, and Vito does too instead.
Yeah.
What is that speechless? Look at your face.
I'm a bit speechless. I thought they would actually play Overpass just because, well, obviously Nip banned it. I'm surprised they did ban it. So I thought they were going to play Overpass, and I thought SK would have an advantage just, you know, watching them right there. I think they would have reads on what they do. Having said that, on Cash, I agree. I think SK could actually win it, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I think SK on Cash, it plays to their strength so much because first off, they have two great operas. Second off, their rotates are so quick, and a lot of Cash is just rotating very fast, especially if you're in a 1-3-1 or, you know, any type of 2-1-2. So I think the map plays to their strengths. Obviously, Nip's going to have an advantage though because SK doesn't really play it that often. But also, it seems like this entire tournament, whoever gets a really good start on that T side seems to just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, right? You win that pistol, they always seem to win the 4th round gun round. So whoever gets off to that really good start is going to have a really big advantage, obviously.
I mean, I have to ask you, when we talk about Cash, if you actually look at NIP's recent results, they have lost to Immortals, Astralis, G2, Flipside, a 16-14 versus NRG. This map that was once their go-to home map has by no means been a pristine record up until now. And so the question does remain. I mean, bearing in mind, those are all offline results as well. These aren't the online results that we take with a pinch of salt. This could be a 2-0, Yanko. Assuming SK's train goes their way.
It very well could be, but this is why SK decided to go for this, because with all these things included, Cash has fallen out of favor with NIP. It was their first pick in best of threes for a very, very long time, but then ever since that loss to Immortals, it seems, at DreamHack Summer, they realized that they maybe need to, you know, approach that map again and see if they need to fix issues. And as I said, it's a map where SK can get adjusted. The biggest problem for me is that the individuals haven't played the map competitively for a very, very long time. So you kind of almost to an extent forget about timings as well. You know, you're not sure like about the spots, the angles, and all that sort of stuff.
Well, definitely, and we talked about it before, how when you're so good at a map, you just kind of leave it on the back burner, and then these people catch up, and these teams catch up, and then all of a sudden you're behind, and you're like, what's going on? But I think, you know, I'm flip-flopping again, Machine. See, like, this whole time I've been talking about the op prowess and how it could punish Nip, and it hasn't happened yet. Every operator they seem to play against just seems to just get crushed and taken out of the game time and time again. I think this is going to be the time that it actually catches up to him.
Oof, big words from Sam. And actually, our first map is absolutely ready. So just final thoughts from you, Yanko. And do you think NIP can even make an impact on this train?
I think they can make an impact. They were a bit unfortunate against FaZe on their CT side. They couldn't get things going at all. But I think more than on any other map or any other situation, NIP has to have a good start, or even more so deny a good start for SK. Because if SK gets a good start on train, no matter the side, they will just run away with the game.
And on that note, we are going to jump into it. Our grand final is locked in. SK NIP, the first map train, a map that SK have looked almost undefeatable on, certainly at this event and certainly in events prior to it. SK NIP continues after a short break with your casters.
Intel Extreme Masters Oakland is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, G Fuel, Kingwin, iBuyPower, Best Buy, Totino's, Acer, and Xfinity.
Intel Extreme Masters in Oakland starts right now. 12 teams down to 2, and who would be surprised that SK is one of them up against them? NIP with Pitt back in the lineup.
When I saw this bracket 2 days ago, this is the final I expected. I have to say, I did predict SK to win, but NIP, they look like they're in great form right now. The addition of Pitt, he looks like he's actually playing very, very well for the team. It's coming together once again, and it's great to see. I think this grand final, I agree with the analysts, it will go the full distance. Train will be indicative of which way it will go, though. Obviously, SK, I think undisputedly now, the best train team on the entire planet. Good news is, though, for NIP, they're starting on the CT side here. We've had the knife already, so that's good news for them at least. If you let SK start on the CT side, they're going to run away with it. That's when they're going to bulldoze you. So we've got a chance this time for NIP to get their teeth sunk into this.
Before today against Astralis, and we're going to get into this very quickly, only 3 rounds have been lost on the CT side of SK in the last 5 times they played the map. Astralis showed us there's something very important in that. It's economy. If you win the pistol, if you win the first gun on the T side, that's NIP's 2 most important rounds in this entire game. But first, we've got to give themselves a fighting chance by being good on the defensive side. That's going to start with only 3 sets of Kevlar. And a kit on Freiburg. Exist was using utility. He used that early.
We have got Fallen on the Tech 9 as well. Smoke grenades purchased, make it 2 of them. And it looks like we're just going for some basic map control for SK Gaming at the moment. They have got those smokes which are very powerful towards the outside site. You have got options to go in here as well. They're just filling out the map at the moment, seeing if there is any aggression coming in from the CTs. We can see one player in the form of Get Right. He's towards the upper platform, seeing if he can maybe peek around that corner. There's a lot of information available for him if he dare goes round.
Very slow start, all things considered, from SK. From what pistol we normally expect to be fast on train. Normally toward the B site, fast and easy to plant at the default position. If they were to go that direction, Get Right does have a forward stance at upper. Pith waiting for a rotation back through Z. Smoke on Sandwich. It's the only one. Flash is over as well. Is that enough to force a rotation? A bit of a panic toward the hell position. Boost up from Exist instead. He's going to watch down the lane, but they're already toward the hitch. Good shot, good position. They weren't ready for the boost at all, but good counter out from FNX as he slides back through and finds him just before he retreats into safety. Forrest, therefore, has to come up large with another kill. Does so, and he's going to follow that up with a second one onto Fur. Pith's rotated, but he's found by Fallen. He's on the bomb train, but Get Right comes in from behind.
We said NIP needed a great start here on train, and it doesn't get much better than that. Winning the pistol round and denying the bomb plant as well. NIP go up 1-0 here. An execution from SK Gaming, dropping the smokes. Good reactive play from the Ninjas, though. Boosting up towards Ali as Exist, landing that first headshot, and terrible damage as well towards the Brazilian side. Like I said, no bomb planter. That suggests it's going to be a force buy here in the second round. It is indeed. Tech 9's Desert Eagles Fallen, of course, on the scout. They'll be trying to work picks with that first, and then, but the problem is they don't have smoke grenades to work with, right? So they're going to have to try and get the pick first, and then try and capitalize on the damage being inflicted. No grenades at all to work with.
And Fallen saving the most money even buying this scout, just based on the kill distribution in the first and not picking up armor. That does bode well for a good start on an AWP, but that's a whiff, and Taco capitalizes. Huge play for him to start off this round just to get some damage in early. He goes down to 37 after how many bullets were fired at him.
That's a massive blunder from Get Right. Normally known as the master of spray control. He gets out-jeweled there at that range of a Tech 9. That's pretty unheard of, but still, SK Gaming get the pick they're looking for. Not with the scout, but it's the Tech 9. 5-on-4. NIP still have the advantage at this point. You can see we have the adjustment from SK Gaming, making their way towards the inner site. They haven't got the smoke with the ramp, though. They're going to have to try and commit all at the same time and refrag together.
Cold deleted charge in with the Deagle. Go quickly. Pith's found Taco. That's the low HP player, and as he rotates back through, good transition, catches off 2, but does go down to Fur, who's caught the rotation on Freiburg. Plant potential is massive, and smartly Fallen's not going to go for the default because they don't have the information on Forrest's position, and he's elected to rotate for the flank. This will give it away. The flashbang down, UMP. They picked up an M4, and Fur's got 100 HP plus armor. It's now disadvantaged for Forrest. Double peek, jumps as well. That might be a misclick, and it's going to cost him. Fallen peeks back out. Round stolen by SK.
It looked like it was recoverable there from the Ninjas, but the Tech 9's doing such a solid work there. I have to say, Get Right, initial exchange on the upper platform, that was a massive problem. Him losing that frag put them in a world of pain, and Pitt, he does what he can to recover. He gets 2 frags, but it's not quite enough. Stepping up there with the Tech 9, manages to find the frags, and like we said, that good start from NIP is completely thwarted at this point. It's going to be not the force buy, they upgrade with some Desert Eagles, P250s and a CZ. But it's going to be pretty devastating to the morale of NIP. We go into round number 3 here. At this point, we have got SK Gaming, 3 rifles, 2 UMPs. They'll be holding things up, seeing where the stacks may lie, executing with the smokes. We know they like to deploy oh so well. As we get into this one, NIP not going to be particularly stacking right now. They have got 2 players towards connector, with more of a focus towards the inside side.
Flash out from afar for Taco to round the corner. Fallen just waits as well to make sure when coming up behind in the ladder for a fast flank potential on these pistols is going to get dealt with early. As such, it's Fur with the M4 waiting to go. Smokes will go down, bounce flashes through the upper window. A quick pop flash as well to cover off the default up close. And Forrest just hopes for a blind shot through the smoke. It's Pitt's position that could be more beneficial. Reacted and responded well for FNX, but that brings Get Right back into the fold. This time he makes no mistake. And as we said, Fallen was watching the flank, so Freiburg does get caught. It's a plant coming in the default. It's only a one-man advantage, but there's no kits, no armor, and these pistols are going to get picked apart.
It looks like Exist is out of luck at this point. It looked like it could have been interesting with the initial exchanges there. Pit with that Desert Eagle. That's quite a deadly headshot to open things up, but SK Gaming executing efficiently there. You want to use most of your utility. Don't give anything away. Molotov, smokes, and all the key choke points, and push down together as well, and make sure you're refragging as a team. They do that very effectively. They're watching their flanks behind, and they manage to keep 3 players alive. But only Exist surviving. Is this going to be saving the Desert Eagle? They're going to be struggling for cash next round as well. They're only going to get $1,900 on top of about the 1,000 they have. So no force spike can really come in, but saving the Deagle at least has something to work with going into round number 4.
And as the money is brought up as well as the kill distribution, you can see it. Perfect timing as the bomb goes off. They're not going to be in a perfect position. So again, just save what you can. Play the long game. It's a big stretch to take to have to sit back and be disciplined when you know SK every round that they get right now is going to be another round you have to win against their CT side.
Absolutely. Well, for reading the economy well, he brings up the Mac 10, means he can have some mobile dynamic gameplay there with up close and personal against these unarmored CTs. He'll be able to farm some cash with that weapon. I'm sure they'll be throwing him some key choke points first. If Taco actually exploring main at the beginning of the round, throws a Molotov towards Ivy and trying to find that first pick. Don't really need to overcommit at this point. Let's see what's available, and that certainly helps. Taco gets the first headshot, taking down Forrest.
Already inside of the site.
Perfect,
no one there.
right?
Yeah, wanted to stack on the A.
He
Pretty straightforward.
He gets a pick outside, and then to find an empty bomb site towards B. Doesn't get much better than this. Exists the only player with an upgraded pistol here, really. Desert Eagle in hand. He's towards Connector on the ticket booth, but at this point, NIP is looking for some exit frags.
And Fur's trying to rotate in behind from CT toward Old Bomb to get kills. And that's the one thing I was going to say. Taco's low. That's a rifle, but I was going to say to get kills on the SMGs. He's going to be far removed from the action. And NIP is doing a reasonable job to start to pick up something of these guns. They've got the AK already onto Pit. That's beneficial when you go into the next gun round, which is going to be the next round. Takes down Fur, they'll hold that even further. So the SMG won't build any economy, and Fallen and FNX know the situation. They want to play this long game. They're going to sit back. They will find Exist for doing so, but again, 2 AKs now picked up on the CT side.
Yeah, Pitt has found 3 kills in this round and saving an AK as well, so that's an extra $900 on saving that weapon. Get Right finds a second AK, so all things considered, that's a very positive round for NIP. Didn't invest much into that at all. Means they can bring the AWP out. It's going to be in the hands of Pip by the looks of things here. Freiburg will be dropped a weapon, it seems, as well. So the first real gun round as we get into this one. Fallen brings out the AWP as well. SK, at this point, many options available to them. They have the execution-based gameplay as well. They can go for the pits, the defaults. We'll see what they bring to the table. It's normally quite common in these first gun rounds to deploy something faster. You know, the utilities might be limited for the CTs at this point. It looks like they're setting up a smoke straight away. A set piece coming out very early indeed.
Minute and 36, already deployed. 3 smokes, 1 at Sandwich. Taco goes fast, finds Exist. That's an opening. It's going to force Freiburg and Pitt to put their attention onto the alley. Inside, and Fallens get shuffled out. He's going to catch him in the position with the AWP. Good response from Forrest. No one goes through Ivy, so they have to stand up to the challenge. And again, that fast execution, and he and Pitt managed to do so. 4 kills between the two, and A side shut down. They over-rotate on it, though. I call it an over-rotation. It does shut down the execution, but it gives Fur a chance to go for a plant. He's anticipating someone else to be in the B site, so he's going to get aggressive. He may have missed his window to go for the safe plant on this, though. He's
going for the victory at this point. He doesn't want the plan. He wants to be the snake in the grass, get his way to CT spawn, take one down, make it a 1-on-2, and then it does get very interesting indeed. That flashbang just to show some presence towards the inside side. Force a rotation, then find a rotating player in CT spawn. This is very intelligent, and it's a big move. Like he said, didn't go for the bomb plant. Let's see if it works out for him.
The frustrating thing from his perspective is that 3 versus 1, they don't have bomb, but they're not over-committing. They're sticking together as a unit. They can rotate. They know strength and numbers is their advantage. If they have to concede the bomb plant, it's not the end of the world because there's going to be money on the SK side no matter what. So Fur pushing up. If he can isolate them just in transition now as they start to get a little bit less patient, there might be a chance. The first and foremost would be on his direct right. It pops out. Forrest gives himself up. Now the plant will come through. 18 seconds, 8 HP. The round surely still favors NIP. Flames on either side. But it is the plant coming in. Either way, 3-2 going to be our score.
We saw that initial set piece coming in from SK Gaming very early on. You normally see most teams going for the default to start, trying to work a pick, and then they'll go into the smokes. SK, like I said, though, those first gun rounds, the CTs might be limited, not necessarily have the incendiaries to hold you off. They get the first 2 frags, and then Forrest, the MVP of the tournament so far, he finds those first 2 M4 kills, and Pitt chimes in as well, the AWP. We saw an interesting play coming in there. It was definitely a risk, but the awareness from Forrest towards the end of that round. Yes, he goes down, but he dinks further before he can actually get the plant in, gets the attention, and manages to win the round for his team. NIP bouncing back here 3-2.
Early tactical call. This is actually a tactical, not a technical timeout. They asked in chat, it's confirmed. Fallen says this is tactical, so they're going to use all of them. Every opportunity for SK, and they know their T side is the emphasis. We know the CT can roll. There's going to be an op setup. Pith's got it again. Fallen has bought. I'll take a quick peek and see what's down inside of spawn, but they're discussing all possibilities, but NIP starting to get rolling. Okay, so it is the op for Fallen as well.
Yeah, at this point, they're just going to be discussing where they're at with terms of the economy, whether they want to go for a default. You've obviously got 4 portals available in this system at this point, so you definitely want to take them, even in the early stages. It's beneficial just to work out what the CTs have presented you so far and how you can exploit it. And we'll see whether Pitt can actually continue this form right now. After 5 rounds, he's currently on 9 frags, doing tremendous work with the AWP. Seems like we've got more of a default mentality this time from SK. Not going to be throwing the smokes right at the beginning of the round here. Just going to be feeling things out, see if they can work that first pick, allow Fallen to find an opening here.
So Pitt and Exist seem to be the two. And we saw Forrest and Pitt shut down the A side last time, but the two that are holding off toward Ivy and have to communicate the most amongst each other. So keep an eye on that position, especially with Pitt on that AWP. Freiburg this time is going to play a little bit closer to get right inside the B site. Very passive approach this time from SK, not the fast execution.
Well, right now going for those brown horse control, using the Molotov there to flush out any potential CTs. Very valuable part of the map for the Ts to take. If the CT is waiting there, the AWP, for example, means he gets a ton of information. He'd have 4 rifles towards outside, so it's always very beneficial to expend one of your Molotovs at the start, just to clear that area out and take the vision away from the CTs at least. That means they do normally have to keep 1 player in the inside site, 1 in connector as well, and you keep them second guessing at that point. So they managed to push that position back. Now they'll be rotating, presumably, into another outside execution with the smokes they have remaining.
Bombs near ladder. It's a tough position to come out of. You've got to have some aggro pulled in the other positions to try and pull away from the fact that Z Connector is going to be your first rotation. So there'll be a confrontation. It's going to be 4 players coming out of A main. If they can head to the right and get to E-box, that may negate the fact that the bomb will be isolated. Fur wants to be the first one in. Fallen setting back for an additional flash over. Quick pop out. Now they'll go. Bombs out. FNX. He wants to take it into the smokes immediately. No one boosted ticket booth. They do catch through the edge of the smoke though. Forrest gets FNX. That bomb temporarily dropped. Cold's got to recover it. It's going to put him down. Planting the bomb means 3 players left to defend him, and they do so successfully. Cold takes down Freiburg, but Pith has managed 1 back. In fact, 2 before he's finally gets get right back inside the ladder. Fallen misses a shot. Pith's going to be able to rotate in, and Taco, he's still limited to Pop Dog. Unfortunately for Forrest, he never got to do anything from the control room before that bomb went in, so they have to shuffle out of these positions, and the crossfire set means NIP has to get aggressive on this. And Fallen tries to fire through. Good shot from Taco, back out and takes down Pith as well.
Taco's been so strong this tournament. He stepped up there. A key situation for SK Gaming, 2-on-2, brings the scoreline in 4-2. That was pretty much as textbooks as it gets to Counter-Strike round. It was beautifully executed there. Doing the default at the start, pushing CTs back, using your execution there to actually see what the CT reaction is. They didn't commit straight away once the smokes were deployed. They wanted to see what grenades were thrown back in return. They waited about 5 or 6 seconds. They get out. The bomb's planted with 10 seconds to go. Very well timed, and they work together with the crossfires and the post-plant situation. NIP have no response, and it will be a full AK for them. As we go into round number 7, Pitt will be pushing in towards the Ivy area. Behind the server for now, but FNX seems to have an inkling that he might be there.
Get right's already tagged onto 5. Very well coordinated from Fur to push him back with the Molotov. Catches the kill on the SMG. A little bit of money for him, FNX. Now we may know Pith's there. The smoke's going to help him do this because if he overcommits, that's where Freiburg wants to try and pop back out and trade him. So very good use of utility from both of the kills so far on SK to make sure there's no threat against just these pistols.
Very, very good work here from SK Gaming. Obviously, every kill counts in these situations. They're not giving anything away. Coldzera has found his way in towards CT spawn, it seems, and FNX finds the 4th kill. Just going to be poor what exists now. USP towards C spawn, and FNX goes down to 2. Decides that Jewel's not going to be worth it. Waits for his teammate in the backup. Still has a chance to get a kill here, but quickly shut down. A clean sweep there for SK Gaming, and they're giving themselves a formidable lead here going forward. 5-2 on the T side, like we said. NIP after winning that pistol, they really need to capitalize. They get the 3-0, get the money rolling for themselves. They're struggling going into this next round. You can see the buys coming in, Matt. It's not great. They've got a shotgun, a FAMAS, no kits. They're buying utility now. Will they be able to get a single defuse kit? And they can't. So if the bomb goes down with another execution, that's when the retake becomes almost impossible, especially with the weaponry. Luckily, though, Pitt has got the AWP. A fast round there from Taco makes his way up main entrance.
Every single player at NIP is literally $0. Make it 300 now for Forrest. Still started off by getting Fur. But there's not a reset on this against SK, so every kill against them, even if they win the round, is going to matter tremendously. Taco, there's one. He gets exist. Get right, finds one with the shotgun in return. But Taco's still breaking through, and Freiburg's going to have to go very passive down toward the end of Ivy and wait for this to play out, wait to play the retake. And as you say, that's going to be a problem for them, as they do not have kits. They've got Pith on the AWP. But the rifle player, 19 for Freiburg, has to go against two players which have slowed down and now have time on their side.
Freiburg's going for the big play here. Low HP, they know where he is. He has to make something happen here. Pushing into T-spawn, going to come main entrance, but you can see SK, so much time remaining. FNX is aware, it's going to come down to the timings here. He's looking at the left-hand side. Could work out in Freiburg's favor. This could be perfect, and with 19 HP, this could be the play of the round.
And Pitt's playing so far back, he won't have the information on it, but now's the peak. Misses the shot, they know he's there, Freiburg. He's gonna bail off of it. It turns it to Pith because now he has the lineup, can't respond in time. Can't miss the shot on the jump, but he does. And it's gonna allow them to transition to ladder. Now we will know they're going toward the B site, but in turn they know the rotation from Freiburg is gonna be very long. So Pith's again the challenger, gets in position to cover the cross, goes with the nade instead, mistimed, it's gonna do some damage. In fact, it does take Taco down, does bounce perfectly. That'll deny the plant, 28 seconds. FNX now versus 2 has an AWP, 96 to work with, but he's got to get aggressive, and he's only got 22 seconds. They both rotated in spots. Pith back down to the bottom of the ladder. But he, in turn, is playing passive, playing smart, trying to allow FNX to make his own mistake. Missed shot comes through, back around the corner. Pith's going to win the round for them.
Pitt having a tremendous game so far, finds his 13th frag. The grenade is perfect, denies the bomb. And you could see SK Gaming getting the information there where the AWP was and when Freiburg and towards T-spawn. It was a great call, but the timings, had they got the bomb down, like I said, no kit, that was probably the round over. The HE grenade saving the day there. There's a replay right now. Couldn't be more perfect. Lands on his head and takes down Taco, who had the bomb in turn. The AWP tried to do what it could towards the end, but just running out of time. Pitt finishes him off. And now the double AWP set up for NIP. It's a little bit risky on train. There's a lot of exploit potential there with the full execution with the smokes, but still, if you can get rolling and you actually find those picks early on, it can be very powerful indeed.
Nade that time won't connect. Good utility to slow down the push. Taco's been playing very fast in these positions throughout the entirety of the weekend. Multiple times he's tried to rush exactly with that smoke on Sandwich in toward Green Train, wrap to the left and take over Hell without the use of Ivy. It's a very ballsy play, but it's been working. Good flash timing. Push, get right back, brings Pit over, but he gets baited back into a shot as he does hit Fur, but Fallen trades. It's going to be get right that has to resume position. He gets caught out by Fallen as well. A lovely shot to peek back out. Taco's caught in transition, trying to get back toward the play, but that's going to give away the fact that the flank's coming in. It's 2 left for NIP. Bomb already planted. And SK, having just lost 1 round, could reset NIP on this very quickly. Forrest goes down, and that looks to be the case. Exist has to be getting away with the M4, and he's going to do exactly that.
A harsh reset as well at this point. You can see the money on your screen right now. This will be double eco territory, even with Exist saving a weapon at this point. Pitt down to $150. 14 kills, though. He's having a tremendous game. That double AWP setup doesn't work out for them. It's a fast play towards the inner site after showing some presence outside. Couldn't really get the duels there going, and NIP losing player by player. They're rotating in at that point. SK Gaming had already pushed so deeply down that inside site. That's what you want to be doing. You want to be getting down towards connector, towards city spawn, and catching the cities with their knives out. They have no idea, and they can't really respond at that point. It's very well done by SK Gaming, and Pitt, he's the AWP and connector at that point. Only finds 1. It's not really going to be good enough. Fallen capitalizes with 2 frags. I think we have got a full eco here, pretty much for NIP. They saved the M4 short. Oh, he's dropped a scout. I think they're forcing him out.
They are. They've got an M4 on Exist as well.
They were going to be double eco regardless, like I pointed out. So they've got an M4 here. Might as well see what they can do. Scout comes out for Freiburg. Deagles and CZ. I think this is the right call. He probably can do some work here if Exist can find something with the M4A4. He's towards outside right now, but it looks like most of the attention from SK for now is going to be towards inner. And a 4-man stack, and it's go okay then. Fur comes straight out the main entrance. There's been a couple of frags exchanged, but it's going to be SK Gaming coming out top. Coldzera taking down 2. There's a little bit of help there from Forrest as well. 4 on 2, get right in Freiburg. Trying to do what they can as Freiburg with that scout. Takes down Coldzera, but now he's left alone in a 3-on-1.
Copped early damage, did Pith, but still managed that shot. That starts it off, good tag. 2 players on 1 shot potential, but there's 3 directly in front, and Freiburg overwhelmed will drop in the end. 7-3. And SK, a very healthy lead, considering we know this is not the scary part. It's when we swap at half.
Yeah, that's when they're just so ruthless. It's on the CT side, the aggression, the rotations, the AWPing, everything is just so calculated for them. And I don't think there's many teams in the world right now that can take many rounds off them on their CT side. SK, 7-3 right now, NIP on another eco. It's going to be 8-3, almost guaranteed at this stage. This was SK's pick. I don't think many people thought NIP could take it. We move on to Cash next, which is interesting. SK not wanting to play Nuke, but I think it's probably the correct decision. They're going to be dueling on Cash. And I actually really like that prospect, and this could be a potential 2-0 here for SK, considering the form we're seeing right now, but famously, Cash, that's NIP's home turf, and they haven't really been playing it recently.
It's true. Get Right jokingly said they were saving it for the major. Forgot he has to qualify.
You got to qualify first, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, Pro League, they played that most times in the season. Jump through, does dodge out, the op does exist. This will push Fallen back onto a Tech 9, but I mean, finding this kill would be excellent if they could get the AWP away, but he's got teammates close by, down toward Ivy, specifically. FNX there with an AK, tags up as well through the edge of the wall. Exist goes down to 32.
But you can see right now, in the top left, is going to be Coldzera and Taco with that inner pulse control. Don't really have to do too much. The CT's going to make a mistake at one point, and there it is. Pit goes down. Still don't need to capitalize, don't need to push in. Wait for the rotations to come in. They're just walking into that crosshair right now. Easy pickings for SK Gaming. Like we said, a guaranteed round almost with the buy, but still doing a great precision here. Keep trying the ladder, boys. It's going to work at some point. Get right. The last player remaining, he will be punished as well by Fur. 5 players once again. The bank for SK Gaming starting to swell at this point. 8K for 3 players, 6 on the other 2. So a great position for SK to be in. Not so much for the Ninjas. 3-stage loss bonus means they're going to get enough cash for a full buy here, but you can see Pip. No head armor, AWP. The head armor's not such a big deal, obviously, against the AKs, but no kits once again. Pip with no smokes, incendiaries, absolutely nothing in terms of utility, but he has been very strong so far with the AWP. He needs to actually step up here, maybe be a little bit more aggressive.
2 smokes already thrown. They had 3 total on the NIP side. Taco and FNX this time looking to be a little bit faster at Ivy as well. It's on that AWP. They've got 3 players to cover off this held position. This goes back to the aggression that SK, and we specifically mentioned Taco, have been putting on early in those positions. Freiburg, smoke off, flash through, dodges the flash, turns back and does hit Taco. Great early pick to find, because now FNX has to go aggressive, and he's actually timed it almost perfectly. Freiburg gets away though, and that baits him back into Pip. It's on to Fur. Finding one. As Forrest is still in the open, this is going to leave him between 2 and make it 3 players as Fallen's there with the AWP as well. And that brings Fur back around to cover off the front of the site from Ebox. They can push for the plant, but Exist is walked back out, caught off by Fur.
It's back and forth so far. Now we go down to the 2-on-2. Like we said, this bomb gets planted. We're in a world of trouble here for NIP, and it's going to be...
Problem is, look where the bomb is. They've left it way back toward the stairs.
At the moment, it's fine. Considering the time they have remaining, they're just going to wait for the CTs to make a mistake at this point. They're assuming they're going to apply. You see, get right there in towards Connector, waiting for that bomb to go down. He's going to face at some point, and he comes out on top. Now we have something to work with here, but both players very low HP.
And it is Coldzera against them, finding one already. Now knows exactly where the second was. Freiburg has always played out toward Ivy. Watch that knife, Cold. And he'll go back. This will put him up the ladder toward... Oh, no, he's got to go the other direction. I thought he was going to go ladder towards stairs, but he finds it anyway. Freiburg's in the open, expecting him to have disappeared. And perhaps thinking he already had the bomb.
You just have to assume at this point, right? It's very rare for the bomb to be in T-spawn with 30 seconds remaining. Coldzera changes position, realizes he didn't have time to go through the halls there, but it actually works in his favor. Freiburg trying to out-position him and gets caught out. 2 versus 1. Another big round for SK Gaming to win. It affects the economy so heavily for the Ninjas. PD50s and CZs 9-3. This is looking like a very one-sided affair so far. I'm not sure it's recoverable, considering what we talked about before when we switch over to the CT half for SK. Even if they just win with 9 rounds, it's pretty much a guaranteed win. This is looking like it's going to get a whole lot worse. First kill coming in for Fur. Takes down Exist, and is just going from bad to worse, but Pit does find one in return.
One's not exactly enough. They do get an AK from it. Fur's at the bottom of the ladder. Watch the position at the top as well. I mean, T-side's down to cover off the A-side's great, but they don't exactly have full control until they get the kill onto Get Right. Forced to be limited in this position. I give up on him for now. Cover it off with priority on bomb, and then Fur puts his attention back, and now the AK perfectly through the spider web. Charlotte's web caught inside of it. Forrest goes down. It's on to just Pit, and he's found inside the spawn. 10-3. This is looking a dominant first map for SK.
We have got maximum loss bonus at least for the Ninjas here. They can bring the AWP out once again, have some utility to work with, but you're absolutely right. Double digits on the T side of Train. when you're up against SK Gaming. It's not looking too good here. Double orb setup. We normally suggest this comes out when things get a little bit desperate, or whether you're having a very, very good game indeed. It's certainly going to be the former at this point. As we go into round number 14, goes without saying at this point, NIP need both of these rounds, the last two remaining,
And
to stand a chance.
well, yeah, to put it in perspective, Pith's got 17 kills, highest in the server. Next best in NIP is 6.
Yeah.
That's a one-man performance. No one else getting any jobs done for them. Get right. Plays a little bit closer inside of B. Pith's going to rotate over to help that.
It's actually kind of true. If you think back to the influential rounds, it's when he's finding 2 or 3 picks every time. What is this exchange? Somehow Taco's there by himself with the E-box, but it's all a ruse. It's going to be the T's making their way towards the other side, and it's going to be Pith once again heading the shop.
Let's get right in behind the spools, taken down, countered off. They knew exactly where he was. Pith, he's been bold with his movements. Catches himself in the open again, but no one able to take a shot in return as they were planting. It's Forrest that's got the second AWP to take down Fur that might be the difference in this. 4 versus 2, they have to complete a retake. They've not managed one all game as Exist tries to spray through, does find Cold, still peeking out. It's suddenly onto FNX. Inside the smoke, he's trying cleverly to bait this out. He's just got to play his time. His shot from Pith. If he gets on the diffuser, Freiburg's already on it. Forrest holds it together. It's going to be a 4th round for NIP.
Had disaster potential there, did it not? My God, 4-on-1. FNX doing what he could there. Had he found the diffuser, lucky there's a smoke down on Freiburg, so he manages to bring it home for NIP, but certainly had the potential to fall apart there at the very last moment. But there it is, NIP find round number 4. SK Gaming trying to sell something towards the outside side. A couple of smokes deployed there. Taco by E-box. It gets taken down. And NIP quick on the rotations. The Pit once again finding the influential orb shot to bring the rotations in and make the retake a possibility. Final round here of the first half. Still the double orb set up, but still so much money available for SK. Yes, they've got a double orb themselves. Cold, Zero, and Fallen. Probably one of the scariest double orb prospects in the game right now. And we'll see whether it pays off in this last round.
Smoke top, ramp inside. Get right has Pith back in the position to support again, and all 5 from SK want out. In fact, all 5 may go down the ramp itself. Cold's going to go to the upper corner on his own, but they're going to go down and in. Before that, they hold up, but not quite enough for Get Right to take advantage as Taco takes him down. They catch Pith, good tag in, but not enough from NIP there either. It's going to be Fur pushing forward to catch off the rotations. Exist thankfully wins the first challenge, but Taco's done the same. In behind the tanker, caught with a nade out. That's an easy kill. Freiburg's pulled it back 3 versus 3. And all 3 have kits. Full buy in the last round. The Flames, they don't quite spot the second player on top of the ramp. It's going to be FNX spotted eventually, but that's after a kill came through. And as a result, we stick to 2 versus 2. Exist comes back around. He's got 7 HP. His timing's perfect, though. Caught off by Fallen. High ground for Cold. Flash that was already deployed and in the hands of his teammate ends up blinding and discouraging Exist from trying to take that away, but they're on the defuse. They put an 8 in. Cold's got to peek and find the right one. He has pulled Exist off it. If he actually had held that, he would have had it, but he gets off it on a panic, and Exist will hit the shot, but does he have the time? Absolutely not. Now, there it is. SK's going to pick up round number 11.
I love it. 2 versus 1. Gold Zero coming out on top. Had to hit one of those shots. And like you said, full defuse might have been the correct move at that point. He's got an orb, he has to reset, but still he goes off and it falls apart. But those are grand final tactics coming from SK. Very basic, throwing the rulebook away. Walk down lower, rapid 1 flashbang and stay as a 5-man unit. You can see how crushing this was for Forest. And can they bounce back from this? I'm not so sure. We'll take a very quick break. And we're expecting a dominant CT performance from SK Gaming.
Intel Extreme Masters Oakland is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, G Fuel, Kinguin, iBuyPower, Best Buy, Totino's, Acer, and Xfinity.
One to forget for NIP, perhaps, but if any team is capable mentally of pulling back into big games, these guys have more experience than perhaps anyone else. Maybe VP, but definitely more experience than anyone else in the scene in this tournament. And they're going to have to come up with the most challenging, I think, task. I think Thorn said that on Twitter earlier, the most challenging task in CSGO right now, beating SK CT side, especially if they get the economy rolling.
Yeah, and it's going to be an uphill struggle at this point. 11-4 SK Gaming, they win the pistol. It's pretty much GG. We'll have a look at NIP's buy. This pistol has to come in their favor. It's going to be 4 sets of armor with 4 Glocks and Freiburg, the utility player. A smoke and a flashbang, but it's going to be an initial exchange from Cobblestone as he finds that first headshot.
Good start as well as he gets a second. That's huge to shut down an inner push. That's more of what we talked about in the first pistol round.
Yes.
More of the standard play to go fast toward B and get a bomb plant in, and already cold. Putting best foot forward for SK, lose this pistol, and I can't see a world where they pull this back. FNX prairie dogging it, comes up and takes down Freiburg, as FNX will fall eventually to get right, but that just gives away his position. 2 players peeking him both from the corner and on the ramp, and down he goes to Taco.
Well, shutdown comes to mind, Matthew. Towards that upper platform, Coldzera, he takes the peak, and we normally suggest that the inner bomb site, that's a more favored position for the terrorists to go on the pistol. You almost guarantee the bomb plant there if you get down the lower ramp, it seems, but SK Gaming, known for their aggression on the CT side here, locking that down before it's even a possibility. Coldzera in some scary form right now, and it's just very common from SK Gaming. We've seen this recently, 5 SMGs in the second round. It's quite strange to see. They know a 4 spy is going to be coming up in the second round regardless. You're going to have some Tech 9s there, a map like Train as well, very long range. They always go for these UMPs, and now it's an MP9 as well. Still obviously favored going into this situation, but it makes things a little bit more equal. But I guess the compensation is you get all the utility to work.
Fast push from Fur. He's the one on the MP9. Against the armor, he has the least penetration, but he's got the rate of fire if he were to rush around the corner and try and take advantage, and he's already at the top of the ladder. They aren't considering it. Take it back. I didn't see Pith there, so smart from him to hold that off with a deagle. He'll pick up, okay, again, MP9, so he's got to go against armored players. It's the least of the worries to lose. But it is a man down early, and it does put pressure on Taco to abide accordingly, not overextend, sit back, and call for the rotation of FNX. And they're going to go. FNX there, as I mentioned, on top of the train, finds 2. It's Taco to pop back help, but Freiburg's got both in response. That's impressive from him alone as multiple players entered. He snaps left to right, takes both down. They're going to get a bomb plant. The bomb plant that eluded them in the first pistol. And with the advance of Freiburg on this MP9, if they cross carelessly, oh, timing is everything, though. That could have caught off cold. He turns it around. Nade goes in. Low HP haunting NIP. It's just down to get right versus 2. Tech 9 in hand does have head armor to work with. There's kits on both, though. And they know exactly, or at least anticipate correctly, that he's on the bottom of the ramp. Tap out, this will bait him in, and they both got vision of when he walks through that doorway. Shots out, tries to bait it in the first one, can't even hit cold. It's pretty straightforward.
Well, they get the bomb down there and they find 3 kills. It was Freiburg, some great entries there with the Tech 9, but ultimately NIP can't find that second round like the Brazilians did in the first half. Here's the replay right now of the good work by Freiburg, doing stellar work to even get the plant in, but at this point at 13-4, and they have to take another eco here as well. It's getting to the closing sectors of this first map at the best of 3. So far, the only champion's performance we've seen on the NAP side is going to be Pitt. He's on 19 frags, Matt. Such a disparity between the rest of his team. If you look on the other side of the server, SK, everyone's performing, everyone's contributing. You can see, look at that scoreboard right now. Coldzera leading the charge, but his teammates very equal, not too far behind him. And we go into this one. It's almost a redundant round, I'm afraid. Yes, they have the Desert Eagles, but it's a tall task to actually even consider finding more than a couple of frags as we go into round number 18. 2 HE grenades. Be interesting to see what they decide to do with those, maybe towards the lower ramp or throwing them at the bomb train. That's what I can really think of. They're going to be beneficial.
So Deagle's trying to find range. The 1P250 trying to find proximity over toward B. That will push back the M4. No need to overextend for FNX, or excuse me, for Taco. SK are getting so good at this map. You have to wonder when teams forget their own map pool and just auto-ban it on them. That's almost another card in their book. We're so good on one, we ban you into another that you don't want to ban.
No one wants to play them on it. Right? Obviously, you think at this point that everyone will start playing it like them, but I don't think there's many people that are going to be able to go toe-to-toe with them at their own game right now. It's just too scary. Here we go then, 45 seconds remaining. Taco waiting to receive players towards the upper ramp as they commit towards inside.
And already a nade kill as well onto Forest. Pretty straightforward. They have entered, but Taco looked away because he had his teammate rotate out of the site. That left him alone, so he considered the bottom of the ramp, and it was just poor timing. As a result, bomb plant will come in from NIP, and that's going to bode well heading into the first gun. Lovely shot from Pith, who continues to show off good individual skill. It's down to a 3 versus 3 with his bomb ticking, but again, there are kits in play, 2 of them. One on Fallen, one on Cold, an M4 upgrade for FNX. Lovely shot, get right. Now they've got a chance up the ladder. Information is small spots both, but doesn't. Here falling, drop down, excuse me, up to his name. As they tap out the defuse, that baits Freiburg in, and FNX holds it from afar, straightforward. SK is going to find 14 rounds before guns even come up for NIP in this half.
Another inside play there, and pretty similar to the previous round as well. Finding a few kills, 3 to be exact, and the bomb going down. Sets him up with decent money going into round number 19 here, but still so much work to do. Pretty much need a perfect game going forward. They decide against the AWP, it's going to be 5 AKs, a full buy in terms of the utility as well. And SK Gaming, this is when the aggression probably comes in. We know they like to push towards Ivy. Sometimes they send 3 players up that lower ramp and try and find the first kill. It's so hard to play against them. You try and overthink it, and then they actually you play into their hand. That's what they want you to do. If they're not going aggressive, that's when they start to chip away at you. But Fallen, I think he has pushed the lower ramp here. Look for that first kill, and with the AWP as well. This is exciting.
Watch Cold as well. They're aggressive on both wings. Fallen's got the first kill. He can fall away. This will start to funnel them over toward the A side, and smokes and flashes are correctly placed, but behind the server, Cold still awaits. And they're baiting him out, trying to wait for this. He's going to go, but that's going to give away. No, I take it back. I thought Freiburg would see the gun barrel. And Cold gets a kill, so both aggressive wings find one, fall back to safety. And now they can be complacent with this 2-man advantage in the round with a minute and 16 CT side. They're leaving them with very little options.
Just as we build it up, this aggression, even if you expect it, there's not much you can do about it. These guys are so talented, some of the best players on the planet right now. 5 on 3, NIP now desperately trying to get back into this round, and Firm maybe giving them a window here. An unnecessary push, in my opinion. You've got this huge man advantage. You don't need to push into that position, but still, Exist finds an opening.
Bomb at Pop Dog. Exist to get right of the 2 in the position. It's still waiting to try and come back in from A main. He'll start to get a little bit closer now. Just wanted to make sure no one's going to push through, but as you said, there was already one careless push. There's no need for SK to do it again. This should be pretty straightforward for Pit to at least get this far. And they're going to reconsider. And perhaps, as the bomb fades off to B, go that direction. Now with Pith not rotating up the stairs, he's going to be the salesman in this. He's got to hold them on the A site so they can at least, at the very worst, have a 2 versus 2 on entry on B. One of which is an AWP, though, and that's a huge problem because already baited in. Fallen missing an uncharacteristic shot, but it doesn't matter. Repeaks out, Exist is still there. It's map point already for SK.
Yeah, the aggression towards the round. Fallen finds that first AWP pick. He's just so good in that role. Dynamic. It seems like he's everywhere when you're playing against him. And Cold Zera gives him similar treatment towards Ivy as well. At that point, NIP had to use all their nades to even get map control. They had nothing left. It was a 4 on 3. They go towards inner, and they're greeted by the combo of the UMP and AWP there. So 15-4, map point. We knew this would be difficult for NIP. I didn't think it would be this much of a one-sided affair. Last chance saloon here, 4 AKs and a Galil. Let's rush out main and hope for the best.
Very fast indeed. Might as well just throw a Hail Mary into the fold, but it's going to be 1 kill from Freiburg, canceled out by Flames on Fur, who then looks toward Exist, spots him, does damage, follows it up as he repeaks out, but that leaves him exposed to Get Right in Forest, or excuse me, Freiburg. Who've made their way down past Sandwich. Look at the bomb. FNX finds a kill, bomb's in his hands, low HP for Freiburg, game over. First game of the grand finals is going to go to SK. There's no world I can see this in. That would have been insult to injury. I think you really, yeah, Get Right's chuckling as well. Not much to laugh about in this game, truthfully, for them, but it's a very lackluster first performance against them on Train. Not surprising. They don't drop a single CT-sided round again here. You've got to win Pistol to even have a chance in doing so. And already, it's almost... You might as well just give them a 1-0 handicap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think you can be too disheartened from that point. I don't think they went into that thinking they even had a chance against SK. Give it what you've got, but they just didn't really arrive at any point. There's only Pith really delivering any sort of performance there. Everyone else very quiet indeed, and it will be 1-0 here. Good news is for NIP, we move to the map next is going to be Cash. At one point, the best team in the world on this map, been quieter on it recently though, but a chance to actually get back into this series.
Yeah, if there's any map that's sort of the same in return in terms of advantage, SK's being their best map, it is Cash that needs to save them. We'll go to the analyst desk and see if they think that's even possible, because Pith's the only one that really showed up in that map.
Thank you very much, Matt and Henry. Bossing it so far, just like SK. They pick it up another win on Train. I'm still getting dressed. I was relaxed, enjoying that.
Oh, dude, you guys with my lanyard on, Alex.
Oh, you did. You see, we were just enjoying that. We've been sitting about 1 meter away from our desk and just chilling out, enjoying the grand final, as every CS fan is here at the Oracle Arena. Now, though, we have to understand why Train again goes the way of SK Gaming. This is becoming... like, I mean, admittedly, it's making our job as analysts quite easy, right, Sam? We just go, SK Train, they're going to win. What's the next question?
Well, on their train, their T side, you notice they always push you into the positions that they want you in. So they throw the smokes, they throw Molotovs behind it, and they know exactly where you're going to be. And then it makes it really easy for a guy like Fur to just charge you and make sure you get that kill.
Yanko, this is getting silly now. SK again with a dominant win on train. Surely this is like an insta-ban for you now. You okay?
No, it truly is getting ridiculous, Alex, because you look at Epicenter, for example. They have a 15-0 CT side against G2, 41 side CT side against VP, and you're thinking, okay, their CT side is really sick, but maybe their T side is not as good. Maybe we can have a strong CT side and then just get a couple of rounds on the T side. Then they switch to T sides, like in this tournament, and they have like 10, 9 rounds on the T side. The problem is that SK, I think the reason why they're so strong on T as well is that even when they have a weak buy, you see, I don't know how many times I've seen them lose pistol as T, but then win the second round with Tech 9s. They're just so proficient, even when they don't have an optimal buy on the weaker side, that just makes it, you know, how do you beat them? It's very difficult.
I mean, I just wanted to get it up so I can put it into perspective for perhaps not the regular viewer. These are SK's recent results on train in an offline environment, so the big tournaments often over 250,000. A 16-0 versus G2 in Moscow, a 16-1 versus Virtus Pro in Moscow, a 16-8 versus Navi at E-League, a 16-5 at this very tournament, and now a 16-4 versus NIP. Like, this is just ridiculous. And bearing in mind, the results I didn't mention were still wins, just slightly by a closer margin.
The problem is, like, this game was a bit unfortunate for NIP in a sense that they win pistol, so you're thinking, okay, they might pull off a good half, then they lose the second round, then they win a round and immediately get reset. So they had a combination of, you know, not having a good start with their economy being pressured at all times. And under those circumstances, the chances of you defeating SK on train are slim to none.
Slim to none. I mean, the one kind of factor that we would never have mentioned in the pre-match was expecting a huge performance from Pitt. I mean, 24 frags. Everyone else is struggling to break 10 days. It's great to see. I mean, that's the only positive takeaway.
Yeah, the only positive takeaway from getting crushed like that. And I think Exist really struggled around Hell and Freiburg around Ivy. Fur was constantly attacking that Hell area, consistently getting that kill. And once that kill happens and Hell falls, it's very difficult to play around the bomb train because you have to be pushed towards old bomb. Even CT Heaven is very vulnerable, which we'd like to see, you know, Forest frequency quite often. So that Hell attack really put a lot of pressure on Exist, and even at times he was having like this struggle with like the fight or flight syndrome. Sometimes he wanted to fight, then he'd run away, but when he ran away, Fur just got more ground, and it wasn't a good performance by him. One time he hid in Hell, and his teammates went to the, you know, the T's just snuck through 5 lane, killed the guy back bomb. It was troublesome.
The problem here, Alex, is this, that SK had such a dominating performance on train that they're feeling the hype right now. They have all the momentum going for them, and coming into cash, that might be very, very dangerous for NIP. Like, if I were SK right now, if I win the knife round, I'll go for T side, because that means I can dictate the pace of the game. I can bring the game over to NIP, and maybe, just maybe, they can ride that momentum into a 2-0 win.
It's certainly a possibility. It has been a dominating start to this grand final. Just 20 rounds of play in SK, who already got the first map under their belt. Up next, though, is going to be Cash. It used to be NIP's turf. They used to dominate on this very map, and we're going to be seeing if they can get closer to the cash, $300,000 to be specific, in this grand final after our break. When we return, we'll be talking Cash and seeing if the Swedes can take us into a third.
Do you want to feel like a pro gamer? Wait no more. Greatness awaits you with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks. When you see unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you will find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and Core i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the total prize purse of Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Feel like a pro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to IEM Oakland. Has to keep Virtus Pro alive. Taco once closer. AW. He's looking for a look. He's going to get a hit by headshot again. Oh my god.
Come on, one more?
One more.
One more.
Okay.
Start the show. Yes.
Totino's Pizza Rolls. Also, Totino's Stuffed Nachos.
That's a whole lot of sugar. Fun fact, there are about 16 packs of sugar in one 20-ounce canned drink. And then there's us.
G Fuel, the official energy drink of esports.
Expert service, unbeatable price. Best Buy.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
Expert service, unbeatable price. Best Buy.
Hello.
SK Gaming versus the Ninjas in Pyjamas. The SK train did not stop upon DE train, and now they have an opportunity to finish in 2. It's grand final time, and it is also time to see if the Swedes can bounce back on cash. Now, Yanko and Daze are here to explain to me exactly, first, what on earth NIP are capable of on cash, and second, where on earth this cash pick came from. The fact that it wasn't banned was a surprise to some of us here on the desk, especially because as we sat here, Yanko, doing research, you said it before in the pre-match, you were like, yeah, so the last time we actually saw SK's cash offline was Malmo. That's 7 months ago to the guys at home. 7 months without playing this map offline, and now they're going up against one of the best teams, well, at least historically, on cash. Surely we're guaranteed to see a third.
You see, that's the key word, Alex, surely. You never go with surely, because that's when things start going wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, the reason behind this is that SK doesn't feel that confident on Nuke, which would definitely have been NIP's pick if that was left in the map pool. So they're thinking, okay, we believe that we're going to lose on Nuke. Why not just throw the dice and go for a map like Cash? Who knows what might happen, because definitely NIP is not expecting us to go for that map.
Now, Sam, you suggested that SK as a team, as a group of individuals, have the ingredients necessary to be good at cash. I'd like you to explain what you mean by that and what these ingredients are.
Well, on CT side, first off, they have 2 very dynamic oppers, 2 very good oppers. So if you want to run any type of a 1-3-1 strategy, it's very viable. Second off, their rotations are very, very quick, similar to something we see on them from Dust 2. They rotate very fast. Cash is really about fast rotating and supporting your teammates that are anchoring the A and the B site.
And I mean, what's funny is when we look at Malmo, bearing in mind this was the last time they played Cash, they conceded 2 losses. They lost to Tyloo, of course, it's going 0-5 here in Oakland, and they lost to Mousesports, who Yanko considers really, really bad at the game.
0-5 as well.
0-5. Yeah, there you go, perfect. The 2 teams that didn't pick up a single map win, IEM Oakland, were the 2 teams that beat SK, then Luminosity, at Cash.
And that tournament is exactly what prompted SK to rethink their map pool. That's when they went to Cash being their permanent map, permanent veto, and they brought Dust 2 back into the pool, which was their veto beforehand. So obviously a reason behind them going for that map. What I think is the case, though, is that on this particular map, for NIP, SK will take a lot of risks because obviously they have nothing to lose, right? This is not a map they play at all. So for NIP, it's about being smart, right? On their T side, I feel like NIP should try and go for fakes early on because SK is kind of forced to over-rotate to things because they are not as practiced on the map. And I think that would be a good way for NIP to just, you know, secure the game very early on.
And my question to you, Sam, is surely there's well, not only is there a lack of pressure on SK, this is a map that they don't play, but what can they do versus such a seasoned Cash team to actually make an impact, do some damage, and counter NIP on Cash?
Well, I guarantee you on the T side, they're going to keep it very, very simple. They're going to try to do Molly takes at B, post mid control, and they're going to do Molly takes at A, almost certainly. But on CT side, I think they need to set up their oppers at A and B, and the way they're going to do that is if you have riflers, don't always smoke right away. Make it a question in NIP's mind whether they're opping it, and that way when you do opt that side, you're going to have a more likelihood of success. Next, what I want to see SK do is, when it comes to mid control on the CT side, always fake like you have mid control. Don't ever just throw 1 smoke and a molly at the boost and let them know that there's 1 there. Even if you're not going to play middle, put someone up close sometimes even, use a couple nades, make a lot of noise, and then that way, if NIP wants to do any type of mid control, they have to go through a much more difficult checklist, use a lot more utility, which is going to open up other areas of the map.
And also really important to know that SK is 1-0 up, so they have that you know, 1 map to work with. They know that even if they lose this map, there's still a decider to be played. They are in the lead, which will again leave them with a lot of room to take risks.
Take risks, take some gambles, and surprise NIP as they try and take us into a 3rd map. It would feel almost unjust to not see a full 3-map series here for this grand final. SK Gaming, they destroyed on their map pick, and now it's NIP's turn to show us what theirs. Thank you so much once again, YNK and Daze. The game is ready, and so Cash will be our 2nd map of the series. Whether it will be our last is NIP's choice to make. They're going to have to put on a show here as the Swedes battle here in Oakland to demonstrate their prowess at the game that is Counter-Strike. Our casters are Henry G and Sadakist, and this is Cash to see if we see that 3rd map decider. The grand final could very well end after this.
And a very good point you made, Alex, about Cash for SK. The last time they played it in a LAN environment, Malmo, they went out in groups. Tyloo was one of the teams that beat them on it. They showed some innovation with double smoke entries from Squeaky, but ultimately they never had success on the map as they expected.
Yeah, absolutely. The problem I have with Cash is right now, yes, SK haven't played it in a while, but in terms of the form we just saw there, everyone from SK has turned up to this grand final. So far for an AP, there's only one player. Yes, it was Train. We didn't expect them to actually win the map, but surely giving us a decent game would have been promising going into this one. You can see they're fired up, they're hungry, they're never going to back down NIP. I do favor them on Cash overall, but just the scary form we're seeing from SK Gaming right now does make me feel this could be a 2-0. We'll see what happens here as we go into the pistol. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for the second map. NIP on the T side here. 4 sets of armor, 1 smoke and a flashbang as well. That's going to be in the hands of Exist. Fallen, he's got the defuse kit. And we do see a lot of teams favor towards this B site. Trying to get that bomb down quickly, go toe-to-toe with the CTs here. Cold Zero, though, he locked him down on the Train CD pistol. Can he do the same here?
And oftentimes we see CTs favor the B side off the pistol. This time it's the opposite. They get Taco aggressively to his stance inside of A main where they get information, and then they can bring the kit and Fallen back over toward that B site. And he's the one without armor. He finds the opening kill. Cold gets caught off in a nade, though. Speak of that armor, takes Fallen down to 8 HP. For Vent not blown out, has to get in position, spots them up, but Forrest sees him and he backs away. This gives NIP a little bit of ground to walk on, but FNX as well has made his way back in the B site. Oh, that's pretty sick from Fur. FNX gets the second one. That back away shot on Get Right was massive. What? And again, every time I'm about to go quiet, thinking it's going to go quiet, Fur steps up massively. Forrest has to do the same on Fallen. It's FNX down as well. We're getting headshots around the board. Thankfully, that bomb is down inside of the vent, not on top of it, and Forrest is able to grab it, go to B. It's Fur. 2 magic shots, but he's got to find a third to run out the round, and Forrest, it'll be his 4th if he does so. Kit inside of the site, keep in mind as well. Fallen drop one down top of Heaven. Quick peek, quick shot. Forrest changes his position as a result. Knows he's gone back down low, but Fur hits another headshot, and SK is going to start this game off as well with a win.
What a pistol round to kick things off on Cash here. Fur hitting some absolutely stellar shots there. Crazy stuff towards middle. It's NIP getting the man advantage towards that B side. They boost up in the vents, trying to catch the rotations there, but Fur, he shuts them down. Forrest as well, he chimes in with some excellent shots of the silent USP. He's known for that weapon and his prowess. But still, Fur comes out on top there. 1-0 for SK Gaming on the CT side of Cash. Bomb goes down for an IP, so they can buy up in the third. It's going to have to be a pretty hard eco going into the second round here.
And Fur, with all those kills on the pistol, is going to go to the M4. The rest will stay with the SMGs. You mentioned this last game as well for SK. But they're not scared of running multiple SMGs in the second round. UMP, the one of choice for obvious reasons. It goes against the armor well. Bomb plant coming in, and a full save of... well, not full save pistol upgrade, but full save no Kevlar means that we'll probably see guns out immediately after this round.
The interesting thing about these UMPs is, Matt, obviously very mobile weapons. They're going to have the AKs next round, and Cash is one of the few maps in the pool, similar to Dust 2, where the CTs have a lot of options. They can push into tight choke points, maybe towards Squeaky Door, push the B-bomb site, and actually see if they can get it early killed. I wouldn't be surprised if for that next round if they keep all 5 players alive here. That's going to be a really exciting round. But still, NIP do have the potential to find a couple of kills here with these P250s, but with no nades, you don't really see much happening here.
Molotov out. They have managed to get one down over the drop. FNX will back away as a result. Forrest to be the one to pursue. And as he backs away, they smartly start to rotate. Fallen or rather Cold outside of the B side a little bit closer by getting into Heaven so he can cover off mid should it be required. But FNX is still in a position where he can peek out. Taco, the third man inside the A site, plays off information, but at least Fur gets aggressive by the doorway. Vulnerable as Pip catches him off. As he opens it up inwardly, it leaves him directly on the doorstep. Pip's going to follow that up with Taco as well. Remember, he was hot on Train. He's got to dink in toward FNX on 17. He's vulnerable, exposed, and left alone. He's got to sit back passively and wait for his teammates to rotate over.
Yeah, well, the problem is here, there is utility available as the flames start encroaching on Get Right there, but still, 5 HP, just trying to hope for some sort of plan here. I don't see it happening, but given a little chance there, Cold Terror takes him down. Like we said, the Terrorists are going to be buying up for the next round, and that's almost good news for SK here. It means they do get to get some M4s here, and maybe challenge AK-47s a little bit more effectively, but they do have 3 UMPs, like I said. A map where the cities have options here. I wouldn't be surprised when maybe go for a boost towards middle, pushing Squeaky Door to try and find one frag to give them the advantage and fall back. And here's the final vibe. 2 M4A4s, 3 UMPs, and an array of utility. NIP surely will be holding for this initial aggression, but let's see what kind of approach they go for.
Quick boost up. Exist. Gonna be the one to try and find the opening. Smoke placed close. He's gotta go wide though. That leaves them vulnerable, and Cold Zero finds 2. FNX back out UMP. Now this is where it becomes a problem. It actually does decent damage, but he has to go for the reload. And Get Right will get away as a result. But perhaps not as right as he would have liked because he's only on 24 HP. 3 versus 3 nonetheless. And one kit in play for FNX at this point in time means NIP could split the site quite well and try and execute onto A. Watch the position in the corner for them as they do have Fur close up.
Yeah, that's going to be the linchpin right here. No grenades really remaining for NIP at this point. Incendiary goes into Squeaky Door, but about to step up, but it's Get Right strikes first.
And that's a big kill to get inside mid, but he doesn't get to capitalize because Fallen's already rotating out of B. So information, they know it's going to be onto the A site. They already spotted that with the Molotov, but they can't lurk in and catch off Fur. Instead, Freiburg does it via the headshot. It's going to be Fallen to rotate up 1 versus 2. Remember, the kit was down and toward that A site. Bomb just in before the Molotov tries to go for the deny, and Fallen goes hunting, spots the head, but can't land it. Pitt's going to win the round for NIP.
Difficult start there for NIP, losing those first 2 frags, 2 colds error. But like we said, it's almost a bonus round for SK at that point. They've got the UMPs out. They take a little bit of a hit in terms of the economy in the previous round. So is NIP able to capitalize here? Here's the replay from Colds error. I thought the round was over at that point. Get Right, though, getting out of that position when he was low HP. Falls back towards the A site, and Freiburg with a very key entry back there as the retake started to come in from the CTs. Is this going to be a full eco for SK at this point? PD-50s, Desert Eagles, no grenades available ready. And it's going to be Freiburg to open things up. We do favor them on cash. Obviously, Train was indicative of the form SK are in right now, but NIP surely favor considering the length of timing speeds in SK have actually played this map on LAN.
Pistol rounds, by the way, are 2-1 in favor of SK, plus they ecoed after NIP won the first one on Train. So they've had the advantage for economy every single half we've started out so far in this grand final. Taco spars off with Forrest after his teammate goes down and successfully finds the kill on the USP, but it's just 1 kill to find. He does get the AK for it. It was quite far forward inside of him. I mean, second one's there as well, but they won't be able to get that far up.
We have got an AK-47 available for Taco here. NIP aren't quite done with this round. You seem aggressive towards A main at this point. Whether NIP will be ready for this position, I'm not so sure they're going to face, and he doesn't land the headshot just yet, but still going to be battling, and he has a Molotov as well. That will slow them down. This next frag is going to be very key as Freiburg's willing to take the duel.
Peeks out. Flames actually blind up the first shot, so it doesn't come in right away. It gets him a 1-for-1 as he overcommitted. It's falling inside of the site. He's got the deagle to work with, gets a little bit closer, tries to take advantage of the smoke. He'll be able to see the feet when they walk through. They aren't gone just yet, and that smoke's getting closer and closer to dissipating. As Sech pushes up, Pip catches him off. Perhaps Texture through the doorway, sees the gun barrel no less. It's cold. He's going to have to be very cold as he walks in from the flank. USP to work with. Bomb's going to go down, hands of Freiburg. And above the door.
Yeah.
They've got position. Hear that open, all turn their attention. Get Right sprays down. A little bit of extra spray because he was a little bit confused as to why he didn't hit the early shots, but it doesn't matter. NIP has 2.
Well, there it is. They find a couple of frags, but towards the end, they look quite comfortable for the Ninjas. It was that AK-47 pushed in A main that made things a little bit more complicated, but they managed to recover. But this is where things get interesting now for the Ninjas. They know the money's not going to be great for SK Gaming overall. As you can see, no kits, 2 Famisons. We have got the fallen AWP. For me, that suggests we should keep the pressure on, keep trying to take over middle there. Actually, when they might not have incendiary grenades, and we'll see whether Freiburg in control of the B storage here. Flashbang comes in, that's where Fallen's waiting for him and misses that first shot.
Missed a few of those tonight. Fortunately, every time he has, they haven't been able to trade it back or capitalize on it. So he gets to relocate, gets to reset. It also baits Cold back into that box position, and Fallen was aggressive with the op. They've seen him retreat. That could actually serve very well for Cold to be overlooked. Should NIP get careless? Again, they've got experience, but in high-pressure situations, it's very easy to overlook an obligation.
You can see now, NIP are doing a really good job. They've kept all 5 players alive, and look at the utility remaining for SK Gaming. No kits and 3 flashbangs. That's it. They've been bled out at this point. If NIP were to execute anywhere, it's going to be almost impossible to hold them off. Fallen probably needs to be hunting for a frag at this point. He's still quite passive towards B.
While the smoke's out, crisscross, as you say, to cover off a potential entrance onto the vents. Freiburg's going to go on this, but Get Right's not in a position to flush them from the other side. So this says to me they might just want to push directly through, and that's exactly what Freiburg does. Needs to wrap fast. First spots his shoulder. Too slow, no flash over. And it serves well for SK to find the opening pick and Get Right. He'll go in clean with no utility, no smokes left to try and compensate for that loss. Tough position to be in as well, as they've already rotated Fur back off the highway. They can go more passive. It's onto the A site, 2 inside of A main. Taco up in the corner and Pitts underneath in the doorway. He'll hear this. They've used this position in reverse. Get Right boosted last time. He sees the smoke, sees the feet, gets the first shot for free. No one able to get through the door, and he's going to drop down, hunt for more, and he does it successfully. Exist will drop the bomb, and Taco, he just has to sit back and let his teammates rotate.
That's so beautiful from Taco. That movement is just perfect. He's on top of that boosted position, looking in towards main entrance just as the smokes are thrown as well. He knows the terrorists are going to have more utility in their hands, finds the first frag, and this is the most interesting part of it. He knows he's going to be flanked from the other side, drops down, catches another T by surprise. Exist goes down and just can't do anything about it. SK Gaming take the lead once again, 3-2. in a difficult round for them as well. Didn't have much money to work with there, and they upgrade their Pyjamas to AKs. And it's going to be a forced buy from the Ninjas. 3 AKs, 2 pistols, 2 Molotovs and a smoke. Not much to work with here, and this exchange could be key.
Forrest thought about chasing it down, but knew if he took another step further, it would expose to quad. He wouldn't have known it. There was no one there, but either way, smart decision to back away, as he couldn't capitalize on the headshot. Taco's down to 77 instead. And Fallen again's trying to put himself in a position where he can find opening opportunities with the AWP.
Well, at this point, Matt, NIP's options really are to go for that mid control, see what they can do, push the CTs back. They haven't got much to work with in terms of actually executing to a bomb site. Need a pick to open things up here.
Keep in mind that position from Fallen as well on the AWP is a direct counter to Get Right, who normally lurks out toward Toxic or Sunroom. And that's a lot of the execution for them because it gives them information on B and they can flush out from the vents and cross on anyone in that position. But if Fallen beats him with the op, it takes that option away. FNX getting pushed. As you said, they need to find a pick. They need to get aggressive. Caught with the nade out. Forrest finds exactly what an IP need to start the round.
And there we go. Something to work with here. They will be going for the B split. Just Fallen waiting for them, though. He's got the AWP. This next shot's going to be hugely important.
That smoke is so tight. Just gets back in time and Get Right can't land it. But he goes tight directly up on top of the platform. Leaves himself very, very pressured for when they do walk in. And he's lost his teammate Cold to cover the crossfire. He's got to land shots. Almost line up. Can't. Goes between the two. Now he's pressured. Now he's overwhelmed as Pith walks in. Headshot down. Bomb to be planted in the back corner. And Exist covering off the vents leaves it to just Taco remaining. And a lovely shot from Freiberg to bring it back to threes.
Yeah, didn't have much to work with there. 3 rifles and 2 pistols. Had to try and find that first pick, get something working in their favor. And as far as it capitalizes, his teammate took the attention away towards main entrance. And at that point, he pushes up to the short box, takes down the initial player with the P250 to go for that B split. And it was down to Fallen. But he's there by himself, smoked out as well. Tries to flash him off, but just can't land a shot to the back of the site. He's had a few misses on this cash map so far, but it's a pretty harsh reset now for SK Gaming. 3-3. Not necessarily a double EK, they can buy up into the next round, but there's going to be Deagles as we go to round number 7 now.
Now smoke out again. Fallen wants to play aggressive once more. This time it's Deagle. Not even op and Get Right. He's got the confidence. He knows the money's not there. This is exactly what he does. He tries to find that first pick. You've been critical at times during ESL Online when he overcommits to pushing through smokes near the boxes, but so far he's been passive, and that's the way we've seen him in the last, more recent form of an IP.
It's just one of those things when you know how someone plays the map. Like obviously everyone studies Get Right's demos. When they start countering his B storage play and pushing through middle, that's when it looked a little bit silly at times. But if he is getting his timings down and he can actually out-frag players, which does happen a lot of the time as well, then it looks fantastic. We'll see whether that Get Right turns up today, but still, this round was going to be redundant regardless. It's going to be 2 pistols remaining here. 5-on-2, Fur and Taco trying to get some exit frags. And Fur picks up a Deagle from a fallen comrade there.
Quick little dink onto Exist. We'll push him back. No need to chase down. Just a Deagle. No armor. Let the round go. NIP disciplined enough to keep their guns up. Want to play economy to a T. Build out a round in hand. They wouldn't have a full buy should they lose this round. For example, obviously they're not going to, but that means if they do save all 5, they will have a round in hand in the next. So smart to be disciplined. Pit does find Fur, but not overly aggressive, so smartly done.
Yeah, every kill always matters in Counter-Strike. You should just be disciplined, try and keep all 5 players alive, work together, make sure you're using that buddy system, so if anyone does go down, you're not giving a weapon away. So we'll just be Taco now, holding towards Squeaky Door, only a silent USP. See if he can find a Deagle or something to take to the next round, but regardless, they're going to be buying anyway. He does find that Deagle. And no exit frag going to be found. So there it is. It's going to be 2 rounds in a row for an IP. They take the lead once more. Now we have got a back and forth game. This isn't going to be a whitewash map. And we do have another gun round coming in. SK Gaming with the AWP. We haven't seen too much in terms of like initial aggression from the CTs as of yet. If I'm an in-game leader, I probably want to be calling that right now. Fallen's been towards the B site more or less every round so far. We'll see whether he can change things up. And he actually will be still towards B storage, but maybe we'll see something towards Squeaky Door, for example.
Molotov goes in and it's immediately countered by a default smoke onto Garage. Molotov was intended so that they couldn't get this aggressive position in toward the corner, but they're going for it anyway. Get Right might counter it, flash through. Everyone's lost. He's in it toward the fork. He knows they've got to be there, but he can't find the shot. He can't find the lineup, and he's in hot water now, surrounded, and Fur's going to find the kill. Leaves Taco inside. Pit doesn't know it. He thinks Fur's the only one close, but somehow he gets away with the kill. It's going to open up Cole, but leave him vulnerable to a trade against Exist, who'd gone through middle, and suddenly the A site is entirely attainable, as it's just FNX. And he'll get caught off by the AWP, leaving Fall and Bomb. Has to be grabbed and crossed over, though, and the op, not scoped in on time, will allow it to happen.
Well, here we go then. Fallen without a kit. 2 versus 1 situation. The bomb down as well. Takes the smoke there. Gives himself a little bit of a gap to work with, but you can see it's going to be Forest and Exist. Exist actually towards the connector area as well, just trying to come in for the pin to play. Works out perfectly as well, gets the headshot in the back. And you can see, just as we discussed, what Get Right does on this map, he takes opportunities, uses his instincts to push through smokes there. Gets great position here, very unlucky with his spray not to take down further, but he causes absolute pandemonium towards the A side. His teammates come in result, and as the madness is ensuing, it's Pit to find the majority of the kills and continuing his good form here on Cash. It's 5-3 and another eco for SK Gaming. Things are starting to look more positive for the Ninjas now.
Yeah, Pith again on 10 kills, Forrest 6, Get Right 7. He's been finding multiples every time, it seems. Not just one and done. Get Right's going to be more passive, smartly so. They're putting a lot of pressure on the B side with just these pistols. He went aggressive last time against the Eco. They know he plays here. It's the most direct counter. Sprays in good damage, does take Fallen in the end. Got a little bit close as he went down to 48 before he'd found either of those two frags.
I actually really like NIP as a whole package on their anti-ecos. They know exactly what they have to do. It's ever since Threat came in, really, you can see they just know how to give themselves the highest percentage chance of winning the round. They never really commit early on in the rounds in which they're taking positions together, taking favorable duels as well, and you can see how it's working out for them. They've dropped one frag so far, taking a little bit of damage there, but Exist, he starts to hide in the corner. Sorry, that's Freiburg with low HP, doesn't want to give anything away, and his teammate comes to back him up. Coldzera goes down, and it will be Taco as the last remaining player here in a 4-on-1. Not really much you can do here, as far as finishes him off there. 6-3. We do have money available for SK Gaming once again. It's not ideal, but enough for a full buy, certainly.
Not for a full buy, but do they go for the AWP? I think they're debating it, and they're going to go 2. They had enough for 2, but it's 2 glass cannons.
Well, then.
One is a risk, but they're going to double up. Now, Cash is entirely a map you can get away with this on, but puts a lot of pressure on them hitting shots, and we know Fallen's been a little bit shaky compared to normal. Taco's going to get aggressive.
We'll see whether this AWP can actually open things up here. Coldzera towards B-Saw is taking Fallen's role, and Fallen, he's made his way towards the quad side of the A-bomb site here. Coldzera going to be Molotov'd out of position. It's more of a default play here from the Ninjas, but Get Right, like we said, towards that B side, pushing through a smoke, it seems.
Interesting position for the crossfire at mid. One on top as we saw Taco on the garage. Get Right.
Every time.
Starting to find this confidence. It can be scary because it's a risk-reward factor, and you never really know which one's going to haunt them. The aggression in mid is to compensate for the fact that the ops are out on the wings, and they want to try and funnel the offense into those AWP positions. Not surprisingly, Fallen has, we haven't really seen this position, the second one over toward that quad side on A, which is also a position which is very easy to smoke off. But Fallen's good up close as well with an AWP.
Well, we'll see where he can deliver. It's been quiet this map so far, had little to no impact. The AWP on 2 frags, and Forest flushing the CTs out with their Molotovs at the start of the round there, and now they're going for that mid-execution once again. Try and take down the vents, the connector, and see if they can find kills with that short box, doing everything they possibly can to eradicate risk at this point.
Forrest is going to go with an AWP, aggressively checks out the positions which were already previously occupied by SK. Fur taking damage backed away, spots the gun barrel, but Freiburg's already got the shot. He goes down, and FNX not quite wide enough to be acceptable to be traded out. Exist does find it now. This leaves Fur in a position where he has to cover off Fallen. No smokes out in front of that AWP at French just yet, but now he's got the shot. Goes for the no-scope, can't find it, Pips there. And as a result, the round over, Exist is able to find Cold in rotation.
5 in a row now for an IP, looking very calculated here. You can see why they were considered the masters of Cash. SK Gaming having a really rough time here, actually holding them off with just the pure fundamentals of the map. NIP's default, flushing them out of the key positions, working as a unit, and actually finding the frags that really matter at that point. The AWPs, once again, having little impact there. They took a bit of a risk with the double AWP setup with glass cannons as well. Full only finding 1 frag, and it's yet another eco here for SK Gaming. 7-3, we've got Deagles, CZs, a smoke and an HE grenade, but you can see this is why SK don't really play this map. They're looking quite stale, I have to say, not really being that dynamic. They don't look as confident as themselves as they do on Train. That's what we talk about on Train. They've got that relentless aggression on a map that's not really known for it. Cash, you've got these options, you've got chances to push in and find the initial frags. They're not really taking them right now. They're sitting back and allowing NIP to run the full defaults, Get Right to get in key positions, scare the CTs and make them drop all the utility. And this round should be another clean-cut one for NIP.
Forrest waiting in position that indicates he's going to be boosting. Likely Exist up exactly that. He'll go with the AK. They put the second Molotov in a position to cover off the vents. That'll flush it back and push Coldzera inside of the B site, which therefore allows Freiburg to more safely take over mid presence. Again, though, they don't have Get Right on the other side of those vents to catch Cold when he does go back. And actually, I take that back. I thought he was inside of it on the minimap. The vent's not blown out. That indicates he was never there at all. So he was on the inside the whole time with the pistol. Freiburg's going to have to be careful of that, because his crosshair placement does indicate it's directly on. And Freiburg's anticipating to be further back. Sees him now, but the shoulder was shown first. Good trade from Exist to be in the same position. Now it's only Fallen on the B site. Has the headshot line up with the Deagle. Finds one. Flames burning. He's got to back away. Can't find the second shot. And he overcommits to trying to find it. As a result, he'll go down. It gives Get Right a position up close. Bomb to be planted in the site. 2 to rotate from Vents. Forest AWP. Timely fashion. Gets there at the right time. Finds both. Taco down. It's round over for Fur.
Yeah, a couple of nice shots there from the CT. You can see, like I said, eradicating risks, Molotovs in the bomb site, smokes in the key choke points as well. The CTs can't really do much with that, even though Fallen hits that lovely headshot with the Desert Eagle. It will just be Fur now remaining in the 3-on-1, looking for an exit frag. Like I said, their NIP probably don't want to give anything away. You want to be exiting out the same position. Pitt, though, wants to find this last kill, it seems. He takes down Fur to finish things off, and that's now going to be 6 rounds in a row for NIP. There's a little replay of Cold Zero opening things up, but like I said, the refrag's coming in. That's so key. You need to make sure you're there with your teammates, getting the refrag every single time. Money available once again for SK Gaming. Double orb set up again, map. It's getting a bit desperate now. They're yet to post a round since number 5, I think. So it's going to be 6 in a row for an IP. Double orb set up a bit stronger this time. And okay, double orb set up and an auto sniper. Unorthodox. Unorthodox, but you know what? A little bit desperate at the moment. Let's see if it works out for them.
Auto, unsurprisingly, goes to quad. Very likely position to be overwhelmed by multiple opponents, spam potential, but this is the interesting one. Fallen's going to play on the A side as well.
Yeah,
behind forklift. Yeah, I agree with rotating that off. I'd rather see that toward the truck or on the highway at the very least, and he's going to go to the bottom of highway.
Yeah, the auto sniper suddenly makes sense. If the smoke execution comes in, you spam through that smoke, but Forest, he's taking down Fallen. That's one of the orbs gone already.
Fur's on the high ground, on side at the top of the catwalk, but the smoke down below. He's going to back away already. This puts pressure on Taco. This auto sniper reaching into the barrel, I think, to try and find something. Has to come out on top of the attack. It does find one. Exist will go down. He's already lost his teammate, though. First rotated back in. He's got there late. They thought they already cleared off the forklift. They had it. Switched to the pistol, and Forest! He somehow gets the kill, survives, and it's still Taco yet to go down, found in the end, and NIP find themselves in another 1 versus 3 against Cold. This time he doesn't quite have a pistol, but perhaps his chance is no greater. What a shot is that through the edge? No, can't find it. Flashed up, everyone nearly blind, but Get Right's able to win it in the end.
Oh, I thought there was a chance that that no-scope came dangerously close. But I have to say, this is a strange setup from SK Gaming, maybe getting a bit desperate at this point. 2 orbs on the auto sniper. It's not championship winning rounds, and they're not going to find much with it. Yes, they find a couple of kills, but NIP sticking together, not giving too much away there. As Forest opened things up with the initial orb kill, taking down Fallen. It was a bit crazy that round there, but it was subsided in the end. As NIP take round number 9 here, a force 5 from SK Gaming, 9-3. They go in the SMGs, the FAMASs, a couple of M4s here as well. This is what we wanted to see, this confidence, but now it's almost desperation at this stage, trying to find a kill towards B storage. Get Right spotted them. I think we have got one towards T spawn there. That's going to be Fallen.
Yeah, Fallen managed to slip by. I think Exist had the call because Get Right spotted multiple, exactly that. So good relay of information. Freiburg saying after the semifinals in a talk with OJ Borg, little mistakes had to be negated by communication. They show it there. They catch off Fallen trying to get sneaky. Or we'll find 1 kill in return. That's one of the M4s. They still have 3 rifles up in this, so still a bit of a chance to work with, but no utility, no kits, and there's still 1 minute and 8 to work with for NIP. They can bleed out the CTs entirely.
Yeah, well, they've already done it, really. There's only 1 flashbang remaining, no kits, and you can see NIP with the majority of their utilities still in hand. FNX desperately trying to get some control towards the A storage there. That's what you want to be doing, getting information in terms of where the teams may be going towards or finishing their execution. It will be towards B, it seems, as 4 players make their way towards the B storage area. CT's on this retake. They've got no one on that side of the map. They're trying to stay as a 3-man unit and hopefully retake together. But like I said, no kits, no nades. It's very unlikely they can even get back into this round.
Pushing up inside of middle. Cold wants to get back toward the vents. That's going to be the fastest re-entry toward B side. He could time this well. Flashes going. They're not looking, but Forest is. Great shot on the AWP up close, and Fur taken down by the same man inside the small pit. Took massive damage in doing so, Pith, but Forest finds the shot. FNX gets 1 in return. Bomb's going to go down, or is it? They're going to rotate this back off. No, okay. I thought I saw the bomb on the back of Forest. It was just the butt of his AWP. Instead, they'll smartly plant it and hold off for a 3 versus 1, 4 HP. And a 10th round for NIP.
You have to say, Matt, SK look very average on this map. They don't really have the setups, the rotations, and the flair on this map we expect from the top teams. Like if you see NIP on the CD side, for example, they're doing the counter boost up towards middle. They're pushing B storage and with 2 players, trying to find those first picks. We're not seeing any of that from SK. There's desperate buys and mishmashes of weapons just to try and make something happen here. And now we get into this sort of stage, 10-3. They're going to have to keep force buying up. 3 rounds is not going to be enough on the CD side here. There will be FNX finding 1 kill, but quickly shut down by Pip. I don't think we've seen a tactical pause yet from SK Gaming. Maybe time to take one for these last 2 rounds. Money's not in a great position once again. The force buys are relentless, and it's going to be $3,400 across the board. But the buy comes in. UMPs once again. It's feeling very similar to what we saw on Train, to be fair, but the roles are reversed. 1 Pyjamas, 1 M4, 3 UMPs. And NIP looking very comfortable indeed here on the T side of Cash.
So far, so good. Perhaps letting Train through. It's the same poison in reverse. Same antidote, just pick up your own best map. We were questioning why we didn't see it from NIP a little bit earlier in the tournament. Obviously, they've still got it in their bag of tricks. They want to try and broaden their map pool. Heading into 2017, Exist boosted up mid. Good position to be in for any aggression that the CTs do elect to show. They haven't gone all the way inside of the mid garage just yet, but we did see a round with Taco and Fur pushed up. This time it's one of the two. Taco's already copped a bit of damage down to 54.
Yeah, at this point, they still know the money's low, right? NIP, so they just need to hold back. More of the same, full default. Let the CTs use their grenade at the start of the round. Go for that mid control. Once you have that, the world's your oyster at this point. You know they've got SMGs, they've got no grenades, potentially no kits as well. You go for the mid control. If you go A or B, you've got such a huge advantage, especially if you get that first pick as well. Flashes towards middle, Fryback to lead the charge. Boots coming in as well. And it should be the first frag going in favor of NIP. They've worked out that Cold Zeros towards sandbags, but here we go.
Baited in perfectly though. Fur was in the corner the whole time, finds 2. They only just get FNX back. Cold still there, aggressive, not expecting it. AK gets drawn and Pith goes down. It's a position to be grabbed, but Forrest can't land the shot. Now they're gonna know exactly where he is. 4 players, a deer in the headlights, signaled away, and Fur will wrap back around to make it 4 rounds for SK.
Well, then we thought that round was going in favor of NIP, but more mid-presence from SK this time. Actually having the bait-in switch, a player spotted towards sandbags. They didn't anticipate for this UMP to be so close range, finding a couple of kills there. This was quite an interesting kill. I thought it was going to be Pitt taking that one, but taken down is going to be 10-4. We go into the final round here. SK Gaming claw one back, and they do have the open hand and rifles to go over it as well. So they can find 10-5. This is still possible, don't get me wrong. T-side can be a lot looser than the CT. It's very difficult to have the setups to actually work here on Cash, but Fallen, this is what I wanted to see. Can he make this first pick work?
That's so tantalizingly close. Even closer when he does pull the trigger. Might have gone through the wickets. And all 5 stay with 100 HP. Surprisingly, Forrest does take a little bit of damage from an 8 down to 84. So too does Exist as one lands just inside to his right. Fallen's pushed back. It's smoke in front. He's going to have to hit very close shots, and Taco gets caught. Not sure which way to go, if he wants to play close to his teammate or not. We said Fallen had to hit close shots. He finds 2. It's Pith remaining 1 versus 3. Lovely shot on Cold. Don't rule him out of this. He's been hot all series, despite Train not so much for his team. And low HP on Fallen. Flash over. Timing could be off, though, as he gets peeked out. And FNX from Truck will make it 5 rounds for SK. Better late than never, perhaps.
Well, it was a rough ride for SK throughout that campaign in the first half there, but they started to come to life, especially Fallen in the last round. Very, very quiet with the AWP, but some signs of life there. 10-5, still a possibility. And I don't think we're done here. As we go for a quick break, do not go anywhere.
Intel Extreme Masters Oakland is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, G Fuel, Kingwin, iBuy Power, Best Buy, Totino's, Acer, and Xfinity.
in a similar way to what the first map was. It's a one-sided opening half, but it's the other team on their map choice, NIP 10-5. A little bit closer, though, if SK could win a pistol. Remember, it's 2-1 pistols in favor of SK.
Absolutely. 10-5 still possible, though. We have to say, SK looked a little bit lost on their city half. Very default throughout. Didn't really bring anything exciting to the table. Mishmash of buys. Auto sniper, double orbs. It didn't really make sense throughout, but they get 5 rounds. If they get this pistol and get the 3-0, we do have a game on our hands. I just don't see SK Gaming having the tactical depth to go toe-to-toe with the Ninjas right now on cash. But let's get into this one, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, the second half of the second map here. 10-5 in favor of NIP. SK Gaming coming into 4 sets of armor. They have got a Superman set up for Taco as well. That's a Tech 9 and body armor. Falling with the 1 smoke grenade, and it looks like they'll be favoring towards the B side as well.
And quickly, unrelentingly. They'll walk when they hit the tunnels just so as not to give it away, and well, I thought they'd continue forward with just Forrest inside the site. It might have been beneficial, but they're going to just sit back just like, for a minute, cover off the potential for NIP to try and get aggressive mid. Cold has bomb. 1 smoke for Fallen to work with, and ideally that goes out toward the tree.
This is exactly what we saw from NIP. Run boost to take the CT's aim away, and then everyone strikes when he takes his first shot.
So run boost goes around, but it's the booster that gets nailed. Forrest takes his head clean off. Taco will respond. Smoke never gets deployed. They're going to wait for the post to try and do it, and that gives Freiburg a position inside of heaven, but he can't get aggressive on the peak. He doesn't have anyone else to back him up, and he'd be a sitting duck vulnerable. In fact, as he gets tagged down to 5, it shows exactly that to be true. Has to give up the position to his teammate instead. He does find Taco, and I think that was actually caught off through the edge of the garage with a USP, which is a very impressive shot, I have to say.
There's a wallbang. It's a squeaky door.
Well, either way, FNX is going to wait for a push back in. They've got bomb planted. That's the hard part of this. They have a kit left on Freiburg. He's the one with 5 HP, remember, though. So they've got to try and leave him alive, or at least close to the site. He's doing work on his own. Pith walks in. They don't even need to keep him alive. They can keep everyone alive.
What a fantastic shot there from Forrest to kick things off there. He only finds 1, but he certainly threw a spanner in the works. Like I said, I think Freiburg actually got a wallbang into checkers.
I think so, with the USP.
Yeah, I think that actually happened. But this is the first shot from Forrest head. Like I said, it's the run boost head designed to take his aim away. He just takes the booster down. Taco with a great shot return, but that was still very exciting indeed. Hopefully we will see if that was a wallbang. I want to know, but we're going to round number 2. Was the Ninjas there picking up the round, and we did see a bomb going down for SK Gaming, so they won't be forcing into this round. They bring some Desert Eagles, 5 of them to be exact, and hopefully with the AKs in the third, we'll see what kind of damage they can inflict to the Ninjas' economy here in round number 2.
Boost up for Cold, perhaps support for his play, and he didn't actually like to stay up there. They put him up, and then I think he fell back down, so Fallen's going to come back out to put him there again. Wants to hold the angle towards Z-Connector with the Deagle. No one inside of mid on that side, so no one at the bags either. It's going to be get right closest bottom of highway, just jumping over top of the white box to spot. Quite be able to spot Taco. He won't be able to spot anyone. Fur takes his head off of the mid jump, so now they've got a bit of a chance to try and take over highway. Exist is going to fall back in behind the ticket booth. As a result, good peek out back to catch Taco, though, and that negates the initial threat of a split toward the A site.
Well, here we go then. Something to work with, though, but just Eagles in hand. First kill was found towards middle, you can see. And there's going to be some more damage inflicted to Freiburg there. It goes down to 41 HP. Problem is, though, SK Gaming, there's no nades at all to work with. We need Deagle headshots at range to make this a possibility. Potentially setting up for the B split here as Fergus is way towards the vents.
Forrest in behind the box. First point of contact. He's going to try and bait them in as close as possible. Deagle from that range is still powerful against the UMP, but it's Freiburg instead that may actually get the spot because they're not getting that aggressive on the vent. Now they drop down. He hears it, goes wide. This will bait them in. Freiburg, he'll get the aggro pulled away from him and has Setch to be able to do exactly that. That works out perfectly. FNX didn't quite round the corner. It could have been problematic, but an IP pick up round 12.
Freiburg and Forrest known to be this great duo towards the B side on cash. Perfect timing there. You can see Forrest not giving anything away. Waits until he hears that footstep coming from the vent. Faces at the correct time at that point. Freiburg's backing him up, and it's just a great tag team combo. That was Fur, the initial shot there. Quite a deadly one, but still. Okay, then we don't see the force by coming in the third round. After getting the bomb down in the pistol as well, we expected to see that AKs in the third, but it's not happening. It's just be Desert Eagles here. Oh my God!
What is that from Cold? Through the smoke finds 2, as they almost lined it up perfectly for him. He barely had to move, and that's a massive start for SK, because Taco's going to follow it up. We're 1 minute and 34 left in the round, and there's been 3 kills on Deagles already. They've got a UMP to work with, and it's panic mode for NIP. They're not even set up into a defensive default yet. Yeah. That is massive from Cold.
That's not usual. That's very unusual. With coldzera, double deagle kill. Now it's going to be a 4-on-2 with Fallen. Control of the B side as well. Both of NIP are towards the A side, but look at the bomb going down on the other side of the map. This is looking very promising for the Brazilians here. And just with the Eagles, it seems.
This will salvage a little bit of pride by finding Taco, but that's on A. Bomb planted B. Forest with it all to do. They don't have a gun picked up on this side of the map, but they've got 3 players watching for this. They'll hear him jump down. Does spot for up, staring at the wall. I think he's waiting for potentially someone to walk in through the vents. Very slow reactions. Still has 2 to find. It's a riddle to solve. He's got his teammate getting closer as Exist gets onto Heaven. That spots up 1. Fallen. They know he's on the site. Try and get onto him quickly and potentially go for the defuse, but he stays alive. Forrest, no kit, no time. Fallen hits the shot regardless.
What an insane round. The replay, please, of coldzera's Eagles. That was absolutely nuts. Just runs through that smoke at the start, and here we go. How did this happen? You can see NIP just weren't expecting this at all. 2 absolutely 6 shots. Exist takes him down, but the damage had been done at that point. And it is going to be SK Gaming with a little bit of help from coldzera and Fallen there. PD50 to finish things off. It's going to be a force bite in return for NIP. 2 M4s, CZs, and a PD50 trying to return the favor, it seems. And they will be having focus towards mid. Freiburg makes his way towards events, but a full default from SK Gaming here. It tries to push in towards A main and actually gets the first kill.
Drops bomb temporarily, that's grabbable. Pith falls back into the site, no one opening squeaky door to try and grab him on the way through because they didn't have information on toward the position at quad. coldzera almost goes simple style, aggressive in the last round, and then they do it right back with the M4s on an aggressive buy, and Pitt's gonna find a second kill in this. He's continuing to find multiples and positions and HP that shouldn't favor him in doing so. GetRight's gonna have to sit very carefully on that ledge for a moment.
Yes, I would say that's fair. Well, here we go then. Still the man advantage, but finds one back. That's going to be Pitt. Like you said, the linchpin of this round so far. That's going to be on 13 HP. The man advantage still lies in favor with the Swedes.
Freiburg is boosted up, GetRight. His patience pays off. He's at 75. We're finding unorthodox wins everywhere in NIP. This would be big for them to pull it back right away. Trying to get any momentum loss and put something back into this map that was served to them last time around. FNX isn't going to allow it. Gets back through the smoke. The AK in that position, though, against weaponless players was quite favorable. And this actually leaves only 1 rifle up right now for NIP. That's for Exist.
Yes, but the good news is Forest is pushing towards the B storage, so at least they're getting information here. They can pretty much eradicate. B's not going to be prevalent in terms of where they're going towards, but still it's going to be Exist towards middle, so they open a bomb site with 15 seconds remaining as well. That plant can come in, and with a Molotov remaining as well, they're going to use that to try and flush out any potential CTs that are going to be there, but Exist now, he's going to have an inkling as what's coming.
Fires at the first, not the second, spots them in the cross, goes for FNX, lands it, knows Cold has to be planting, 4 seconds, gets it forward position as a result, but Cold smartly pops back out with the AK, and he's got 72 HP against Forrest, who only has a CZ, so this could all come to naught. As Cole gets close to the wall and Forrest walks out, gives himself up.
Exist. He sees the prize there, trying to actually take the bomber down as he's planting. He runs in with the flashbang. Potentially should have waited for his teammate. They've given him a chance actually to play a 2 versus 1 situation instead of 2 one-on-ones. You can see Forrest is struggling just to seize it in hand. Didn't have information as to where he finished his position. And there it is. The force fight doesn't work out for the Ninjas after Pitt did some great work there towards the start. With A main, that's what you want to be doing on the CD side, pushing that position with flashbangs, catching T's out of position. He did such a good job to open things up. But SK Gaming potentially back in this game now, and because they forced another eco for NIP.
Bounce the Molotov in behind the box, but it's GetRight on the other side of the wall instead, so he'll be fine. 3 players over toward B. Cold almost echoing exactly what GetRight likes to do on their T side. We saw it multiple times. Meanwhile, the rest of SK, they'll start to look out toward the A side. Nades in behind Forklift. 1 smoke so far. They aren't going to use that. Just trying to force the defense to move and try and do some damage in the process. If they can get an early pick, it's benefits against these pistols. And smartly as well, reading the economy. SMGs will, especially MAC-10s against armorless players.
Yeah, well, there's 1 player waiting for them on the A side. Another one rotates in, but a lot of work to do here with the default pistols, and Fallen finds the first kill there. It's going to be Fur actually chiming in first, that MAC-10, but Pitt does reply.
This is where Pitt's been stepping up. He's been able to find trades, sometimes worth more than his weight, as he does go down this time with only 1 nade back through that will catch off Forrest. I'd say Kobe, but we're in Curry's building, so we've got to say Curry. As Freiburg's going to walk back out. Timing could be everything. Nearly catches the bomb plant. And door shut, GetRight's going to open it. That sounds the alarms as they all turn back. 12 to 8, SK closing it slightly.
An interesting prospect now. In terms of the economy, we do have enough for NIP to buy here. I don't think they can get the AWP though. It'll have to be 5 M4s, maybe an SMG, considering if they want utility in the defuse kits here. Forrest yet to buy, so he does bring out the M4. It's 5 of them up against the ropes now. This is where most teams will go aggressive. Maybe towards Squeaky Door. You know you haven't got a kit. You need something working in your favor. I would suggest maybe they do a counter boost towards middle, something like that, just to get that first pick. They don't want to really allow SK to do a full execution here against them. We'll see what they bring to the table.
One's going to wait in the inside of the smoke at Sunroom. I'll hold the wings. It also holds the position to allow Cold to clear, so they're getting very close onto this B position. If they get some smokes out of the middle, if they can clear off the vents, could serve well, but that should come, given Freiburg's position, with the help of a Molotov. And then if you consider that Cubby's held right now as well by Get Right, if they overcommit to the mid position, even though he's low on HP, he could catch them completely unaware. So not a bad crossfire set with Freiburg inside the vents for the CT side to try and negate this pressure onto the B site.
Mid-presence here from Get Right, like you said. At the moment, very similar to what we saw from NIP. Bleed the CD tower, or lower on economy as well. You can see he's got a few flashbangs to work with. One smoke in the hands of Get Right. He's gone on a 23 HP as well. As we can see them adjusting. Will be a boost towards middle. Go for that control. Very lucrative part of the map as they start to boost up. Freiburg, he needs to go big here from the vents.
Haven't been flushed out. There's 3 Molotovs in play, but they've not used one, and Get Right's trying to get closer, knowing that they haven't seen anything on the A side. They have seen a little bit of mid-pressure. They know Cold's been running through the smokes over at B because Freiburg could hear that. It's very likely this is heading that direction. And all 5 of them are going to go out from B main. Freiburg's prime for this. If they don't counter it off, Molotovs go in. He's got to try and pick his time, pick his moment. Fires in, they hear it, but they don't respond, and they spot his feet. Cold takes him down. It's Forrest with only one. B-bomb site opened up, 11 seconds. They'll grab the bomb in time to plant. And as Taco takes out Forrest as well, Get Right on the lurk's going to have to absolutely step and take charge as he finds Fallen. Still not done, though, because Cold's still in that same position out toward Checkers. He can swing wide, find exactly where Get Right is. He still anticipates perhaps one more inside of middle, but they're not. It's Heaven and Tree and a smoke in front. Get Right finds one more. Cold swings exactly as mentioned, goes back and finds the shot towards Exist. Pith, he's got to try and find the shot in toward Cold, but he's so far removed from the bomb, he can bait this out in time, and Cold goes for the shot instead. Another round for SK.
Coldzera starting to come to life now. 4 kills in that round, recovers the AWP as well. That was big for the Ninjas, like we said. No kits, lack of utility. You see Fallen, he is struggling the AWP so far on Cash. Not landing the characteristic shots we expect from him. Get Right coming in the flank does make things interesting. It comes down to a 1v1 with 2 of the best players on the server right now, Pitt and Coldzera. But the champion comes out on top there. It's going to be 12-9. Another eco here for an IP. 5 Deagles. 1 flashbang, not necessarily stacking to one area as well. It's more of a default 2-on-2. Fur gets that first frag, taking out Get Right fast through the mid-smoke there.
Very fast for Fur inside of the vents as well, though, but that actually doesn't really pay off because Freiburg's waiting there with the Deagle. It's going to be Fallen now, putting his attention over toward A main. Taco waiting outside of Squeaky. No aggression through the Squeaky door from either side so far this game, which is a bit surprising. Usually you see it at least once a half that someone wants to get aggressive and hold off the A site in doing so. Fallen and Cold, though, stepping up and taking charge in the rounds, and so far the momentum firmly in their favor. This will be their 5th round in a row after 2 only for NIP. So it'll be a loss round bonus at maximum effect, and NIP, I think the timeouts need to start coming in. The shot exists, but that doesn't really matter in terms of the overall scoreline.
Well, at least, Matt, we've got a game on our hands now. 12-10, double digits to both sides, and 5 rounds in a row for SK Gaming. Doing very well in these clutch situations. We do have a full buy, though, for NIP. The first time we see the AWP come out as well, it's going to be in the hands of Forrest this time. They've got 4 rifles surrounding him, and they have got utility to work with, along with the kits as well. This is where things really start to come to life here on the second map. And it's Fallen with the AWP as well. He boosted up, but he is holding towards mid-storage. Those mid-smokes coming in nice and early, though. And I think that's actually a little bit of a fake. You can see 3 players going towards Squeaky Door, so they're trying to sell some mid-presence there. And with 3 CD players actually towards that position, this could get interesting.
The hard part of this boost is that Pith's up. He's got his back turned to the door. It's Exist getting into an escape and getting into safety before they try and open this, and he just gets over to the forklift now. Taco's not elected to go early. They're still waiting for the players to get inside A main. I take that back, they're gone. Pith's not ready for it. He's still looking toward A main, turns back in time, does find 2, turns around but pulls the nade. That's going to allow potentially Fallen to find Exist, but he's ready for it. Takes him down in Cold. He's found the only kill thus far. He's going to have to find 4 more if the round is going to continue with this trend. Going to SK. Now keep in mind, we just mentioned it, max loss round bonus. Every kill he gets right now is big for SK. And he's got a first shot already to find the low HP player, but Forrest is there. They'll keep 3 alive, and importantly, the AWP as well.
Forrest has got some balls in him to actually face that cold zero in the form he's in right now as well. I thought he actually had a chance to take him down, but the AWP shot lands, and an IP find a round in return. You can see what SK Gaming are trying to build up there. The 2 smokes towards mid to hold any players that might be there in that position. They've boosted one up as well, and it's quite a heavy A focus as well, but it's actually NIP with almost the perfect counter setup there. Full execution on the A side. With Pitt boosted up, he finds 2 more frags and adds to his total. It's actually Forrest leading the charge of 24 frags, but Pitt's not far behind with 22. Very strong performance from both of those guys so far.
Taps into mid, one of those bullets very near the head of Get Right as he gets in toward the cubby. Again, they set this crossfire with Freiberg. Remember last time, no use of Molotov to clear this. It seems standard, but he's only really gone here twice, and they never spotted him when he did so, so it's not like they're anticipating to use it by default. Sort continues to try and spot to see if Get Right has made it into that position. Meanwhile, over toward the A site, Fallen's got his way towards Squeaky, and the door's been opened, so Pith knows he's there, and he's waiting at NBK for him to walk out. Watch Highway as well. Exist nearly exposed him behind the barrels, and I'd favor Fallen normally, but again, he's been missing a few shots that leave us questioning in this game. It's not going to extend all the way to the wall. Fallen could still potentially try and go for a shot on that.
Yeah, he's just trying to work this first pick at the moment. Haven't really committed to any other parts of the map here, but he's waiting towards middle. There's heavy CD presence there once again. Get Right spots him, looking with that first frag. You can see he's going to be receiving flashbangs in return, but can he hold on and find the next kill?
You know, he's here now. That's a problem because they're going to double Molotov, stack it up. He's got to get away from this, and in fact, he goes down immediately. Molotov actually failed. It went down and I think caught the edge of the wall, so didn't deploy properly. So good thing the bullets did find, but now they've got the advantage by 2. And they're going to rush it back over toward A, where Pith resides and waits with an AWP against 4 angry SK players trying to walk through. FNX, he misses that first shot. It's going to get closer inside. Wrap around, Cold's got the shot. It's onto Forrest, and he's smart enough to sit back and save the M4 at this point.
Yeah, he has to. It's 4 versus 1. He's got no kit, no nades, and Pitt. That was the only real opportunity he's going to get with the AWP there. 3 players running in front of his screen. He could have hit that first shot. The shoot's in between all of them, and it gives them a clean run at the bomb site here. So after winning 1 round, after losing 5, NIP do drop this one. It will be a pretty harsh reset. Forrest does find 1 kill in the form of FNX, but gives his position away. They know he's towards CD Spawn. It doesn't look like they'll be hunting him at this point. So going into the next round, we get $1,400 for the Ninjas. Not really enough to buy with. Exist probably can bring out an M4. His teammates not so much. With the M4 saved as well, though, could be double eco. They might force up into this round and try and see what they can do here, but it's getting to the real dangerous sectors here. Need to keep the money under control. Can't give too much away here. 13-11. SK strike back. A nice default there. And actually finding Get Right. You can see that double Molotov coming in. He actually did very well to even get that kill, but shut down. This was the key frag there. Freiberg caught out of the vents. Taco nails the headshot, and Fallen, we saw him waiting toward that squeaky door area, hitting the rotation frag.
2 rounds separate them. NIP, they had the lead 10-5. Remember, they only won 1 gun round, and this time they'll only have 1 gun. It's Forrest on an M4. The one was saved. As Fur gets in toward the top of the middle. Needs to go out. No smoke's covered off by default. They're going to boost up FNX as well, so 2 guns to try and fire down and cover off these positions and allow them to advance. For SK, this is an important championship as well when you consider the storyline. Under the Illuminosity banner, 3-0'd by Fnatic when they had 12-3 leads in 2 out of the 3 games at Katowice. They've won the last 2 majors. People are calling it the SK era. They've never won an IEM championship.
Well, Forrest now boosted up in the A side once again, a position that paid dividends for Pitt before. And he finds similar results here. So we're going to come down to this play. It's actually going to be correct as well. SK Gaming will make their way towards the A site here. Enough for a full execution, but sometimes this position is overlooked. We saw it before. Forrest now just needs to be patient and not drop down.
Interesting parallel on that point as well. That was the last championship the dominant Fnatic lineup won before Olaf's injury and then the departure of many players. Forrest, good boost, finds 1, drops down, tries to get aggressive, doesn't go through the door, and perhaps he should have. As FNX from A-Main catches him in the open, it's Cold to follow it up. And Nip suddenly down 2 on the A site. Pith on the Deagle does have a chance, but only gets the 1 shot. It's Cold to fall, but FNX to trade, and inside of the site, Taco does the rest of the work. Get Right down Freiberg, the last remaining challenge, and it could be 13-12 quickly, but hold our breaths on that wide peak from Fallen. No mistake that time.
Forrest had a chance there to cause absolute chaos there. That first kill was great. Like you said, had he gone through the door and just committed and gone with it, could have found the second kill. That could have been very interesting indeed. A little bit apprehensive, missed the movement slightly, and can't find his way in there. I think we have another eco here for an IP. This could tie things up at 13-13. And what I saw from SK Gaming on the CD side, I didn't think they'd be able to go toe-to-toe on the second half, but they've managed to do it. Broken the economy once again. We have got a little bite coming from Get Right. Brings an MP9 to proceedings. I'm not sure what he's going to do with it from heaven, but let's see if he can find anything. So going around number 26. And surely SK Gaming going to tie things up in this round, but Freiburg has snuck past here.
Has snuck past, but they've got two in line from Connector and directly inside the garage itself in the form of FNX to take him back, and Fallen brings that AWP back over closer to mid, having already found one kill. It's going to give him some space to try and move. They know Get Right's been getting close inside of that position, but look at Pith. Again, he's going to get aggressive. They have no idea he's here. Spot him in the jump, though, and Fallen's able to respond. He's looking warmer, and that's getting scarier for NIP, who only have a one-round lead, and I dare say it's going to be a tie game after this, especially with Cold finding exactly the man. Get Right down. Pistols remain on 2, 1. I'll let you count it down, Henry.
I can't work out the rest. You're going to have to finish it.
32 HP is a hint. No armor's another.
Okay. So
P250.
Right. So Exist is going to do it.
Ever the optimist, Henry G.
Well then, next round will be quite telling as to where this is going to go. NIP been quite disciplined here, taking a couple of ecos, didn't force too much into them, so they're going to have potential for double AWP if they wanted to. A team that's not known for having superstar AWPers, a player's very capable. Okay, Exist. The auto sniper's back, Matt. It's going to be a single sniper rifle. I'm not sure this is the correct call. It's one of those weapons you bring in when you're doing very well, or you're a little bit desperate. And the auto sniper on this map can be very good. It's very good at spamming through towards the squeaky door, towards checkers, and in front of the smokes as well. But it's quite unorthodox, I have to say. Exists known for using it in the past. Let's see if we can find some old form here as we go into round number 27.
This is the desperate time. This is do or die. This is it for NIP. Had a lead, their map. And SK's pulled it back. The auto sniper for Exist right now is going to play over toward the A. Same position Taco had it in at quad. Fer and Taco, speaking of, are going to be the two players over on that side of the map. Bomb with Cold and Fallen on B, and Forrest and Freiburg. Again, trying to set that cross. Not inside vents, though, is Freiburg this time around. I take that back. He's on the lip of it. Minimap loves to throw me off.
Well, the bomb over towards the B side of the map for now. Taco will be rotating as well. This could be a B split with no middle presence as of yet. Could it be a full execution towards the B side? You can do lots of molotovs through the window there. Smokes towards Heaven and CD spawn as well. That is an option. As Fallen, he holds Sunroom there with the AWP, looking towards if anyone's going to be going aggressive with the checkered room. But it's that auto sniper. I'm not sure it's going to pay off here, as it looks like a B side will be where SK Gaming will be finishing here. Exists on the A side of the map.
And how do you fancy a retake with an auto sniper? That could be a bit of an issue. 3 kits in play. We've got to start increasingly looking that direction, because right now it looks like 4 players for SK are going to be on that side of the map. Fur's in a position to catch off rotations as well. He'll hear Pith leaving the forklift if this bomb gets in toward the B site. And Freiburg's gone away from the vents. He's in behind the box. They're going to round the corner already. Clear it off. In the site they go. Freiburg's going to have to wrap early, but Forrest is stepping up tremendously when needed. Finding 2. Goes down, but now Freiburg's going to wrap back up. He's got to get there, but he falls before he arrives because Fallen's got to cover it off. Speaking of, Fallen will fall to Get Right. And Fer doesn't elect to get anyone and try and push back through and toward A. Rotates at mid instead, gets some information, but not the kills. And as a result, he goes down to Get Right because they spot him going over toward the B main position instead. It's FNX alone with the bomb ticking behind him that has to hold off 3 NIP players. Now, one of them does have the auto sniper. Remember, Exist on a retake. That's not favorable. So watch the AK and the M4, and they're going to try and get together. So it's a double peak, tradable position. FNX spots one nade, and immediately, okay, I take it back. Exist hits the shot.
No scope. Why not? Well, Matt, it's certainly not all first, like I said, but Exist does make it work on that retake. Bit of a scrappy round overall. SK Gaming not really getting much done on their default to start things off. They go for the execution towards B, but Forrest shutting them down from the headshot position there. Most teams, before they go into B side, they'll throw a Molotov in that position. It shouldn't be this easy for him as you're looking right now. He should be Molotoved out, or at least smoked, and it will be Fallen. Finding a couple of kills in return. Did come down to an equal situation at that point, but the retake is strong. The problem is, once again, it's only 1 round in 4 that NIP have found. If they lose this one, could potentially mean another double eco. And at this stage of the game, that's a very scary prospect indeed. They need to win this round. And the money's going to be diminished. Round number 28, we've gone the full distance here on Cash. The auto sniper still rings true for Exist.
Remember as well against Liquid, we didn't point this out. Double auto sniper was one of the setups they used against Liquid in the semifinal to win that. Taco was the one of the auto sniper then too. I know I'm thinking back to the first half, but just For the sake of lineage, it's going to be held again here from Exist. Same position. They never attacked him on the A site, so he may still have the upper hand here, but Fallen's getting much closer to the position to peek on quad, and he has the AWP. Smoke out, fast peek, nails it, crosshair placement there. Fallen, make no mistake.
What is that?
That is unreal. Never mind the auto sniper, it's gone already.
That's so sick. Fallen just takes him down there. Exist had no idea what was going on. He was about to spam that smoke as well. I think, oh, I might get a free kill here. Nope, denied. Fallen takes him down. What a nice little set piece that is.
Needs rain back through. It's Fur again anchoring down this A main, and it looks like it may be the same set play all over again. 4 to B, Fur to wait for rotations. Thankfully, Freiburg's gone back out of middle to get in toward the vents a little bit sooner this time, but he's not deep inside of Checker this for the rotation. This time, he's going to be dropping out and in their clutches. Forest, as a result, same position as the pistol. Peeks out, spots cold. Smartly gets away. Good damage done. They jump in. Taco somehow hits it, though. That was a must-win for Forest. Thankfully, he's done decent damage, so Freiburg can follow it up, but he's limited with 14 HP inside of mid, and this is where Fur can rotate for free this time. Much better positioning for SK overall than the last round. And the man advantage to boot, as the bomb will go down. Get right's the only one close. Slight gap in the smoke. Wants to take advantage. Pith knows the situation. He knows Fur's been running this exact same setup. They're desperate for a play through the garage door. And I don't think they're going to find it smartly, and IP's backing away.
Do you know what I mean? Like I said before, they lose this round, they go in with absolutely nothing and potentially give themselves a double eco. They could have potentially won this round in a 4 versus 3, but with the auto sniper, the reason we've pointed out before, not strong in that situation. They don't really have the grenades to work with here. So try and keep the weapons up. You can see the hunt begins. Fur's hungry to find. If he just gets one of these frags, it's devastating for an IP. They're trying to save as they turtle up towards the squeaky door. Fur's coming in, though. I don't think I'll have time to hunt them out, but we can see on the other side it's Fallen, edging closer and closer. They should be able to survive here. And that's good news. Like I said, the money's going to be in the absolute bin here, so they're going to have to try and balance things out, drop some Pyjamas here, but what was that?
That's unreal. That is... I thought maybe there was a chance. I mean, GoTV, maybe there's a chance he sees it before it blooms, but I'm not thinking so. I think he just had the crosshair placement perfect.
Well. We do have 3 weapons saved. The auto sniper still out in the hands of Exist. Hasn't been that impactful, I have to say, but Forrest, he's just on a UMP. A chance for SK Gaming to close things out right here, right now. They have the advantage. Falloff fires off more shots for the smoke there. Not going to land anything this time.
Very different setup from an IP to put more pressure on mid early. And Freiburg elects to push up again. Same burrow, but different teammate to play off of in B. Same person, I should say. I guess same teammate, but very different setup as Forrest gets up closer to the box inside of B-main instead. Haven't really been checking that. Cold's gone over the box once as Fallen had the angle held with the AWP, but aside from that, they've been committing and anticipating they're not there, so maybe he can get the jump. No early read from SK this time. Furs again inside of A main, but no indication with no picks on exactly where they're going to go. And Exist has changed his position as well in that auto sniper.
Well, Pit now alone on the A site. SK Gaming has shown such heavy presence towards the B bomb site over and over again. It looks like they'll be ending up towards A this time. They have got the smokes and utility to work with here as they show some presence towards the mid area. I think it's a little bit of a ruse though, as they get the bomb and heading towards A storage. Pit, tremendous so far, but he might have a very tough task ahead of him here.
Smoke to cover off highway. Pit's position, though, can still see above this. It's headshots only, and it's an M4 to do it with. He's got to be spot on. He's been good throughout the course of the series. But this is a pressure situation. Pop flash out, they're already in. He's missed his opportunity on the first, jumps up, commits to it, gets the bomb down. Pit snaps over, finds Taco. Fallen's got the response. And he's got the bomb back in his hands. He's actually going to bypass it initially. Realizes it, goes back for it, but Forrest has Cold in the meantime. And NIP may, let's not call it done, breathe a sigh of relief because this will put them on at least overtime point. Nade down to 16. Fallen misses a shot. We're there. It's going to be 15 for NIP.
Pit does it again. Like we said, he had to step up there in that situation. The execution comes in. It looked promising for SK there, finding the first frag. But Pit jumps up, the flashbangs, the synergy's perfect with his teammates there. As soon as he gets up there, finds 2. That was the initial frag hit. This is the perfect play. You can see how fast everyone is as well. Exist chimes into that auto sniper. A huge round for them to win. And we go into round number 30 here. Overtime definitely a possibility. We pick up an AWP in the hands of Forrest. Exist still on the auto sniper. They do have a full buy for SK though. NIP need one more to take us to a third map, which we know is going to be tremendous. Cobble will be something spectacular in this series of the grand final here at IEM. SK Gaming, they're looking to close things out at 2-0. It's going to have to be an overtime at this point though.
They wanted the fast boost. They're not going to get it. Molotov denies it. Fallen, pre-scoped, has to wait. Pre-scoped would work if Get Right was up close in the cubby because he wouldn't hear him jumping up. and doing so, but no one's that close this time. Get right, more passive, bottom highway. Again, they've brought Forest closer to the vents because Freiburg's been having trouble getting back inside of this site if Forest gets caught off at headshot. Great shot. Now the auto sniper works. That's payback from Exist. It may be a spam weapon, but it only takes one bullet with a headshot like that.
Yeah, great stuff from Exist. Takes down Fallen as well. Such a big scalp to take. One round required to get us to that third map. We all want to see it. Cold Zero picks up the AWP. Up against it now.
This is big. This is so big. Catches him off. Discipline in the trigger. Nearly misses it, but good play from Pith. Taco down, 2-man advantage. And IP getting closer to forcing that Cobblestone miss shot. Forest. 61, tagged in return. He's going to get aggressive here and stay in this position, but the flash coming through. And then Flames as well. He doesn't know he's burning. He's got to be very careful. Teammate as well inside of the vents. And he still finds a shot on the Cold. Fur's the one that got close, but he had no angle to work with as a counter Molotov came out. He will get Freiburg. Now a second shot from FNX, but Exist still in the sight, and the auto sniper is going to win it for them. As that IP will force map 3. It took a while. They had a good lead, but they closed it, and they came alive late.
A little bit too close to comfort there, I have to say, but NIP do find what it takes to take map number 2. It Exists. We called it out for being a little bit desperate at times, but the auto sniper pays dividends in the end, and we are going to see Colton map. That's the map that's really going to set the tone for the rest of the final here. It's going to be so equal, and it's going to be absolutely electrifying way to finish things off.
And for the record, I mentioned how long it's been for SK, or rather, that SK's never won an IEM. It's been almost 6 full 7 years for FNX and Fallen and winning one in 1.6. So it's been a long time coming, and they've got to wait at least one more map. I think we're ready to hand over to the desk. I think Alex is standing by. Finally, something to talk about in Cobblestone. Finally, a middle ground. I think this series is going to get good.
It certainly should be a good one, Matt. Thank you very much. Alongside Henry or Hank, whatever you want to call him, he is indeed a tank. And so are NIP. Still, though, trips and stumbles on their map pick. We already highlighted that SK coming into this one should not be fantastic. It shouldn't be smooth. It shouldn't be the Brazilians map, and they push it all the way. YNK, my headset's falling off. Lots of twists and turns there on my cable as well as the game. Days and YNK, then I think we have to address the elephant in the room, that is that game was closer than it should have been, Sam.
I mean, it was, but SK played brilliantly well on that T side.
Right?
The way they took it so methodically after they tried that quick A, got shut down. And I have to praise their teamwork. You got to understand, they came in without playing this map for what was it, 7 months?
Yeah,
since
DreamHack Masters Malmo, which was in April.
Yeah, and think about what they did. They didn't get shot in the side of the head or anything like that. They checked every position. They played very well together, had great teamwork, and just the communication alone in order to take some of those sites like they did was really, really impressive. At the end of the day, though, NIP was too well structured, too well drilled. We saw it definitely on their T side, and that was what allowed them to overtake SK there at the end.
Whew, I mean, it came down to like 1 or 2 rounds. Exist, if he hadn't hit that headshot on Fallen, who knows where that would have gone with the auto sniper.
I do feel that a lot of the rounds, though, were very close in the second half, right? I feel that there were a lot of clutches, some impressive clutch performance from Cold Zero, like starting from that round number 3 where he just walks through the smoke with a Desert Eagle and gets 2 headshots. You know, that was what started the run for SK Gaming. But when you look at the map as a whole, I think in the end, even though the result itself was close, I think you can clearly see why NIP is regarded as one of the best teams on Cash and how better they were than SK, because they were going. I was saying that maybe they should go for fakes because SK would be in a position to over-rotate. They were going for a lot of splits instead, splits towards the A side, where they would throw a bunch of smokes, force the rotate, but then have 1 or 2 players coming through highway. Yeah. And that would always split the attention of SK. Even in that particular round, SK had 4 players basically on A. NIP would still win the round because they know exactly which spots they need to look out for, what is covered with smokes and Molotovs. So in the end, yes, a very, very close game, but the most important thing is that NIP does get the win and we see Cobble.
We get a full 3 maps in this grand final. I do think that the main point that we have to make is well, twofold. One, the first half from NIP was what we expected, Sam. An expectable and also an incredibly impressive performance from the Swedes, right? Like, I mean, you pick up 10 rounds on T side, there's a reason for that. I know that you, alongside most of us watching, were sitting there going, well, this is what we expected. It was the same as SK's train, right?
Well, it started out a little bit shaky, right?
Sure.
SK looked like they were gonna, have a really good CT side when it was like 3-3 or whatever. But then you really saw Nip's experience on the map come through and shine. And we definitely see way different styles. As Yanko pointed out, there was a lot of splits by Nip. SK was more of like a brute force type strategy where they just 4 or 5-manned in, just using Molotovs, getting right to the edge of A or B and then exploding out, which was a really good strategy by them, because if they did splits like that, they wouldn't have had the timing that Nip had. They would have went up high way too early. They would have gotten crossfired, and then they would have focused on A main because they just don't have the experience together on that map.
And I think it's a great example for teams how they can approach maps which are not their strongest maps, because brute forcing your way in, basically you have a numbers advantage, so your main goal is just to get to the bomb site and plant the bomb, and then you can always, at least hope or rely on your players, on your individuals to go for a play, try and make a play in the after plan, go for a cheeky peek, right, get the advantage your way, and you'll probably win more rounds than trying to do something that requires a lot of practice, a lot of structure, and you simply don't have that.
I completely agree. I think that's a great point. And that brute force strategy, though, we see it on Train with SK too, and they're just so good at that because they just trade the kills, make it the 3v3, and then when you have players like Cold in a 3v3, it's just...
Now, viewers would often perhaps fall into the trap. When we say brute force, it does perhaps have the undertone of less structure, less plan, less format, less skill. However, you guys can remind everyone at home that still being brute force and having that, it takes so much skill to be able to do that effectively.
Well, the thing that it takes is really good communication with your teammates, being like, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to check here. I'm responsible for this. I'm going to do this and be responsible for this, et cetera, et cetera. And then as soon as somebody dies, everybody has to know what that person was responsible for. And the thing about SK is they did it all on the fly.
It's on the fly, and it was off the cuff, and we still saw them pushing NIP on their home map. There's no doubt. I say home map with a pinch of salt, admittedly, given that Nuke wasn't available to them.
Well, but they protected home court, right?
Yeah.
Their map pick, they protected home court.
They really did, and I think, you know what, there's a discussion that will be had for many months to come after this grand final, depending on the result, is how that veto went down. The fact that we did see them go for that Mirage ban outside, and we did see that Train go through for SK, right?
You look at this map, you look at how Cash went, and I think we can all agree that we would have thought that SK would do much worse on Nuke than they did on Cash. So when you look at the SK side of things and their veto, you can say, okay, this was a good decision from them. Yes, in the end, they still append losing the map, but they put up a much better fight than they probably would on a map like Nuke.
Yeah, and I think whenever you're the underdog, which SK clearly was going into Cash, all you want to do is give yourself a chance to win, and they had more than a chance to win. They had a good chance to win. So I think it was a brilliant decision by them to ban Nuke and go with Cash.
Now, what's interesting as well is that this deciding map, which everyone is calling going to be the closest between these two teams, historically hasn't been close. SK have won the last 4 Cobblestone games that they've played versus NIP. And so the Swedes, albeit having survived Cash by a very narrow margin, are going to have a lot to prove in our final map, which is where we will be going next. It's kind of crazy to me that Cobblestone will be determining all of this, and already at NIP, I don't know about you guys, you know these players better than I do, but you can't help but feel that getting so close on a map that you should be winning as convincingly as SK1 Train, do you not think that's going to waver their confidence at all, Sam?
No, because a win's a win.
A
win's a win. Whether it's 16-0 or 14-16, a win's a win.
Okay, a win is a win in his books. You're nodding as well, Yanko. You think we're still getting a fantastic Cobblestone?
Confidence, not at all. If anything, it's going to be fatigue. They've had a long best of 3 before this. Now they're going into another 3-map series. So for them, is to find a way to keep the hype going, keep the adrenaline going, so that you don't really think about it. That doesn't affect you. You can only focus on the last map.
Well, they're probably going to be focusing on many things. One, $300,000, and of course the lion's share goes to the winner of this next map of Counter-Strike. 2, the crowd, the roar, the amount of welcoming vibes they feel as they're going to once again walk out onto that stage after our break to prepare for Cobblestone. It will be Cobblestone, the castles and the hills will once again determine who will be the champion here at Oakland, and it will be coming up right after our break. Will it be the Brazilians or will it be the Swedes? We'll find out after our break as we return to talk about our final map of the tournament.
Do You want to feel like a pro gamer? Wait no more. Greatness awaits you with Intel Extreme Masters certified PCs and notebooks. When you see unique IEM certified stickers on the outside, you will find high-grade components with Intel Core i5 and Core i7 processors inside. Every purchase includes in-game content and supports the total prize purse of Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. Feel like a pro.
Come on, one more?
One more.
One more.
Okay.
Start the show! Yes! Totino's pizza rolls. Also, Totino's stuffed nachos.
Expert service, unbeatable price. Best Buy.
To expect that split towards A, so finding those three players coming through drop. There's 12 to go, and Guardian is not letting them lock landing.
He has had lots of time. What was that? Surely it was on. That one certainly was. Snacks goes down. And the Spanish superstar is going to try.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ESL Oakland! Two headshots in a row. Phoenix about to bring it back now. All on Nico. Trying to see if they can get the defuse and Nico. Oh no, Phoenix!
Has to keep Virtus Pro alive. Taco once closer. AW.
He's looking for him though. He's gonna get a hit by headshot again. Oh my god.
The stage is quite literally set. A third map for the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters between SK Gaming and NIP, the ninjas in pajamas. The Brazilians have genuinely won majors in this territory. Cobblestone was where they felled Liquid and raised the trophy at ESL 1 Cologne, and now there's a different story, and to tell that story is myself, Machine, YNK, and Dazed for the final pre-match of the tournament. It's been an absolutely wild ride, gentlemen, but now we have to understand Cobblestone. And actually, you know what? It's not as simple as that. Yes, they may have raised the trophy after winning Cobble versus North American side Liquid, but also they lost to Heroic in the group stages. NIP have looked good on this. Historically, SK have beaten NIP. There's so many things flying across our face in terms of, you know, how this one's going to go down. Fortunately, there's more to it. And Dazed, I'd like to start with you. You have a much more profound knowledge of the South Americans than many. Cobblestone for SK. What have we got to kind of watch out for if you're an NIP fan? What can they do oh so well on this very map?
Well, NIP has to be very, very careful of on SK's T side, their constant force buys. They'll buy Tech 9s with limited utility, but they'll make every use of it and burst onto things. You know, we talk a lot about SK bursting, but that's really what they do. On that B site, they'll jump through the smoke fearlessly, and they'll execute their strats extremely quickly around drop and try to get, you know, any type of pinches going on. They did play this in the group stage. SK did win 16-9.
Yeah.
You know, and it was pretty easy for him, to be honest, with 11-round CT side half. Having said that, I think NIP will probably be pretty prepared on it, but that's what they need to be careful of. Those force buys, the quickness of how SK executes, and you need to react to it fast and react to it properly.
It is funny how often we see SK lose the pistol and win the second. These guys just have stupid amounts of firepower with just a $700 investment, these Deagles doing damage. Now the same kind of question, but flipped for you, Yanko. I mean, you, Mr. Master of European Counter-Strike, know all about NIP on Cobble. I mean, what are we going back onto it?
That's the thing, SK is very strong in those force buys with pistols, but you need to understand that the team with rifles, in this case, for example, NIP, they have the advantage. If they play it properly, the chances of their opponents winning that rounds are very slim, and they were really good at that in the beginning of the year. When Threat was behind them, that was the thing that we praised the most about them, playing those anti-force buy rounds. So for them is finding that discipline in those rounds to clinch it, and it's also because they had a weak T side in group stages, it's about being methodical in their play, right? Not making those small mistakes, throwing the good pop flashes when they go for that map control, because SK can be shaky towards that A bomb site. Sometimes Fallen and Fur can be disjointed, playing like two individuals instead of like a pair. Yeah, on the CT side. So it's for NIP, and also you question if SK fell into that trap similar to FaZe, where yes, NIP lost to them in the group stages pretty convincingly, but now they have a lot they can learn from that matchup, and they can prepare for SK much better, because NIP did win in the end that overpass game against FaZe.
We have received word the players are keen to get this map underway, as I would be too if I've got a $300,000 tournament to win. My final question then, and it has to be just the team name, is, gentlemen, who is going to be winning and lifting the IEM Oakland trophy? Sam first, just the team name.
SK.
Yanko, believing
NIP.
in the defending world champions? No, we have a split desk. Going for the Swedes then, the Serbian Stallion goes for the Ninjas in pajamas, and now to cast through our grand final, it is a deadly duo of their own. It's not Forest, it's not Get Right, it's going to be Henry G and Sadakis to cast through this grand final. A third map, which just gets us all the more hyped to see who will be our IEM champion for Oakland here.
Thank you very much, Alex. By my counts, and I think I just did this in my head correctly,
go on.
This will be the 10th $250,000 plus tournament this year. We've had 7 different winners in the 7 last most recent ones that were of that prize pool or greater. The only team to win 2 this year is NIP and SK.
Wow. That's an interesting stat. Thank you for doing your homework.
You're welcome.
Well,
it's rare that I do, but just think about that, because if you want to call it an era, NIP, this is a big comeback year after 2015.
In my opinion, this is where the grand final really starts. We've had the two, not necessarily one-sided maps. You could see SK a little bit out of their depth in that first half. It certainly wasn't comfortable for them. They managed to make it a very close game, of course, but still, we didn't expect them to win that one. This one, a little bit 50-50, I would say. Historically, SK Gaming have had the drop on NIP throughout the last 4 encounters, I think it was. And this one, I just feel like grand finals time. It can go either way. We're having the knife round right now. It's currently 1-on-1 between Taco and Get Right. They're enjoying themselves, you can see. Throwing the weapons.
Yeah, they're passing the weapons back and forth to each other. It's actually kind of comical. I would say at Cobblestone, it's not as important as we've seen on the last map, especially on Train when you're playing SK. So Taco's won it, but not as important to pick a side. But
it's just where you feel more comfortable, I think,
absolutely.
right? It's where you want to be starting off. It's not really heavily dictated by saying, oh, it's obviously you've got to start T-side. I think it's actually going to be SK winning the 9th round and staying on CT. So there you go. But there we go. It's going to be the third and final map here, Matthew.
Yeah, I mean, this, like you say, is where it starts to kick off. We've seen a lot of series like this year, even in various grand finals, where you get two teams with such strong map pools that they have one map that's better than the other teams, and as such, you get their map choices picked, one, and then you find a very neutral third map, and I think that's exactly where we are. It's also Cobblestone, which plays very differently than Cash, where the CTs have the availability to get aggressive and shut down the execution.
Although we didn't see much of that on Cash, I have to say.
True,
both teams quite passive. But you're absolutely right. Cobble is limited in the options actually proposes to the CTs. You can't do too much apart from maybe boosting and drop down and maybe pushing long A.
And I was going to say his Train is very similar as well. So it comes to choke point and bleeding out utility. So it's still a bit of an economic factor in this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the third and final map. You've been sensational all weekend. For one last time, let's make some noise. SK Gaming versus Ninjas in Pyjamas. This map decides it all. 4 sets of armor for an IP. Freiburg, Molotov and flashbangs here. Most teams do favor towards that B side. There's initial encounters here, but there's no reason why SK can't go aggressive with the silent USPs and try and make something happen. It does suggest they're going to have to do that.
And the read from SK is exactly that. Fallen, top, mid, connector, door. Other 4, drop or B site respectively. That's very close to cap just off. Taco misses a few shots though. Drops them in early and they've already covered off toward Chicken Coop, but Taco recovers. Snaps back around. Freiburg does burn fur and then takes down Taco immediately after. It's not a soft shell Taco anymore. He's been crisped up quite nicely as Exist is going to take down FNX as well. And Cold's got 4 HP. Headshots required on that USP. And look how close Exist is getting. Headshots required. Far range. He's got Freiburg as well. Looks for the second, but Exist is there. And an IP finally gets some momentum early.
What a brawl of a round that was. It was Taco opening things up with a sick, crispy USP shots. And it comes down to the 1v1. Cold Zera trying to shut it down, but only had 4 HP. Exist rushes him. No plan required. It's going to be 1-0 here in the final map. I assume we will see some sort of force buy here from SK Gaming. They're going to come with the Desert Eagles and Taco with the Mag 7. This could be a little bit more interesting than I thought. Get those AKs and some SMGs for an IP.
Exist in Forest. Closest to the B site so far. Get Right, we know, likes to play the top of drop. Seems to be the common lurk position. Q happy, but he plays it a little bit more passively and looks for kills early, but then doesn't drop down and commit until the site is opened up.
Now, the analysts were just pointing out how strong, especially on this map, SK Gaming are with the pistols. The good news is, though, NIP are one of the best teams on the anti-ecos, it seems. They can actually hold it off. They're very disciplined. We described it before on that first map. They're very good at keeping all 5 players alive and eradicating risks. They use their utility properly and making sure they're using that buddy system. No one's dying without a return frag coming in. That's the problem for SK Gaming going into this one. The bomb's in the B halls for now. No one really committing. It looks like Freiburg and Pig will be trying to hunt towards long A, get some information on that side of the map. There are 2 CDs waiting for them in the crossfire.
Fallen is one of which. Who's looking for the headshot potential. Doesn't go for the peak when Freiburg does arrive, though, but that could actually pull him into that crossfire. It's found, it's spotted, it's taken down. Well done from NIP. Exactly as I mentioned, and you pointed it out, they know they have to be aggressive against these force buys. Cold does pull back Pith as they get ready to throw out the nades, though. That'll be one smoke down toward the top of the door that they won't have in place. May not matter. They elect to put it out rather than on balcony to compensate for that position, and Exist is going to take a 3rd kill in the round regardless. It's down to FNX and Taco, and Bomb smartly goes inside of the smoke in the hands of Get Right.
Well, there it is. They managed to negate the Mag 7 at that point, going towards long A, shutting down that crossfire. The bomb's planted in, and only drop 1 frag here. Another great anti-DQ coming in from NIP. 2 players remain with the CT at this point. FNX has got a Zeus and a silent USP. Taco probably wants to be saving that Mag 7 at this point. Every kill he gets with it is $900 in the bank, but taking it to the next round, I think that's going to be more beneficial. They'll have a chance of winning the round at least. You can see FNX here getting a little bit cheeky with the Zeus, hoping that someone goes through the position. It would be a bit of a nightmare to go through at this point. Get Right. Okay, just jump through, and it's going to be FNX looking away. Baited in by his teammate, perhaps from the vent area, and it's going to be Taco towards drop down with this Mag 7.
Nobody's quite as skilled, I think, or as proficient with that weapon as Jordan is. Nothing. Found a kill in the group stages. He's been known to do so.
Yeah, I'd say that's fairly accurate. Taco will be saving the Mag 7, though, so that's something to work with next round.
It's quite the claim to have, right? You know, Cloud9 might have gone out in groups this time. Okay, let's give him credit. They did win Pro League, but, you know, at least he's the best Zeus player in the world.
That's true. Something, at least. Well, here we go then. Round number 3. Not much can really be brought from SK Gaming here. This is a T-sided map for sure still, and NIP have a chance to build some bank here, and if they can take those SMGs into the next round. After the force wipe from SK Gaming, they'll be limited with like the head armor, the incendiaries. That's when you really can sink your teeth into this game. And the Ninjas now looking to keep all 5 players alive once again. It's Taco this time towards long A. Chenyu's positioning up. He was actually towards Broken Wall last round. Didn't get anything for it. Can he find a kill this time?
Meanwhile, the AK drawn from Exist looks toward the common position of the burrow of stairs. That's where Fallen elects to play from. Doesn't quite peek now, will. Does actually better damage in return than he received as he puts Exist down to 45. He's got to be careful though, because they are getting closer and closer, and they flushed him out with the Molotov. Forrest is able to catch him with the UMP immediately thereafter. They've got the man advantage to work with. Bomb intentionally dropped as well. Back toward the Dragon Lore mural. They'll grab that and start to head to be on that first pick alone. Smartly so, they'll slow it. Taco, as that's with the shotgun, still going to be left out toward the hay bales. He won't have any opportunity to try and find a close angle now.
Referee goes. It seems NIP are going in the other direction. It will be a B-side commitment at this point. Not really much the cities can do about it. As I say, that cold arrow, the headshot from the silent USP, and he will be dropped by Freiberg in return. And they are doing damage at least, but it's not going to be enough to win the round at this point. Third down to 10 HP, and Taco once again coming in the back with this Mag 7. He's going to be alone as well.
Yep, right, builds up some cash on that kill, and Taco doesn't really have much options. We're going to be going into a gun round regardless here, so if you can pick up kills, you can pick up money. That's more important at this point.
It's still, if you can just save the weapon, it's still viable in gun rounds, right? So it's still worth saving to some extent, not just throwing it away. So if you can stay alive and get a kill, that would be perfect.
Hey, there's 3 positions that you can play it from. We've seen 2 of them already from him. You can play drop, you can play the broken wall, and you can play out toward the hay bales. With it, does pick up that first kill low XP on the second. If he had got 2, that's money built up. But again, just with 1, we're going into a gun round. That'll pay off in terms of utility, and they do have a position to go for an AWP. It wouldn't be the most idyllic buy, but they're going to go for it. Fallen doesn't surprise anyone with that buy. Leaves him a little bit light on utility.
Well then, NIP will be upgrading to the AK-47s. They brought an AWP of their own. It's going to be in the hands of Forrest this time, the first real gun round here. You can see the CDs are limited. After force buy in the second, it's always a bit of a challenge in the first gun round. You can see they have got 1 kit, no incendiaries, and Fallen, no head armor there. Against the Gillo, that's a bit of a problem, but not such an issue against the AKs, I have to say. He's towards long A this time, looking for that aggressive pick. NIP do like to focus on this area, and the first flashbang comes in. Pitt's been great so far. Good timing on the flashbang, actually forces Fallen to fall back.
It doesn't peek it too soon as well to try and catch him turning. He just wants to get position rather than a kill, and that's the smart play. Fallen through the smoke as well, tagged to 15. As Pith continues to spray in, hopeful. Again, the goal wasn't to get the kill off the back of that flashbang, it's just to get map control, and that gives NIP so much to work with a minute and 10 to work with.
It forces a rotation. That's normally the aim of the game in Counter-Strike. You want to be pulling CTs away from the B side, not allowing them to have information towards long area, even middle this point. So you can see Fallen and Ferner have to be committed to the A side of the map, and will be Fer actually holding towards long A. He's got backup from Fallen. He's trying to bait in Fer, for example. He'll take that first shot, and Fer can run around the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an execution at this point. NIP in great position to smoke towards the connector, Molotov the balcony, and try and allow Forrest to get some position here with the AWP.
For the one right waiting around the corner in a close angle. And Fallen low HP on that AWP. It can't really peek from the hut because the players at bottom mid is 1 and done. Has to go large here. Does get traded. That's pretty much as expected, but at least he comes out with a kill because it'll slow them slightly. Fallen's elected to go passive. They've got 2 approaches covered off, but a rotation coming in early. Cole, first one in the sight, bound by Forrest. What a shot. Fallen's there. Traded back by Pitt. This will put the bomb in position, and FNX does fight back to catch Get right off inside of the vent. That'll put him in a position where he can catch both on top of the site, and he's done it. FNX finds 1. Taco's there for the other. They both wrap around. And they'll get the defuse on the first gun.
Well, a very back and forth round there. It was NIP opening things up, but it was equal exchanges throughout. And Chris Bain from FNX and Taco to finish things off there. Fallen doing everything he could on 15 HP. He hits 1 shot. Morris does take him down there, but that was such a huge round. In terms of the money game, SK needed to win that. That could have been a quick 5-0 for NIP. That's Forrest taking down Cold Zero there. But still, a lot of reset potential here. NIP certainly still have money. As we go into round number 5, 4 AKs, no AWP this time. Get-Right will be on the UMP. Not necessarily a big deal. He's one of the players that likes to go towards drop down. It's a close range encounter in that position. It means he can have a lot more running gun potential as well. Number 5, Fallen. Will he be changing his position? He's actually going to be towards danger this time. Not as aggressive as he was before. Does rotate back into the same position though.
He's got the shot line up. Pith, same thing, same flash. He's got his teammate as well with 1 this time, but Fur, he's the change of play. Oh!
Pith gets him down low and then misses a bullet, nearly comes out dead because he's on 9 HP. Good response from for all things considered, but in the end, man advantage again for NIP and Freiburg. He's taking full advantage of this. He's got the stables has fallen, still retreating. Sitting duck, down he goes. Second player not quite exposed from the APC. And thankfully so, because that gives Cold a chance to respond. Catches the low HP on Pith as well. Watch the Molotov for Forrest. This will open up the doorway. I don't quite think he'll push through. There's no one to flash for him. He sees bullets coming both directions. He just wants to hold off the rotation. Does so. FNX down. Knows Cold's on top of the site. And his teammates just now getting in a position where they can start to capitalize. He's actually going to take it into his own positions because they're rotating around behind. And the bomb on the B site, he just does so much work to keep them on the A. Cold especially, completely removed. Taco may take him down, but he's got a lot of work to walk back in, and he may have to just back out of this. They've got kits on both players, but if they don't find a pick soon, this is going to be a hard position to go in, especially only winning one gun.
Yeah, get right there, waiting for it behind the doors with the UMP. Like, close range position exists on the other side as well. Next kill to be very influential. Can Taka do anything about this?
Get right still in behind that rock position as well, gives them a perfect crossfire. He'll call, double peek to come out, exist in the wall. Right position to be in, doesn't commit, knows Cold still inside of the archway. And again, they still have the crossfire. Lovely shot on the way through.
Could have been a little bit dangerous there for an IP with a 2 versus 1 works in their favor. Like you said, great crossfire, smoking them out, forcing them to go towards the drop down, the connector position. And this was a really nice round from NIP. More of the same, getting that first pick towards long A. Back towards B, they went. Coldzera doing everything he can to keep them in that round, but that is a pretty harsh reset here. 4-1 on the T side of Cobble. And it looks like we have got a small investment here. We've got Coldzera on the CZs. FNX is going to join him as well. The Deagles come out. But still, ultimately, this is an eco from SK Gaming. NIP with a fantastic start here on Cobble.
Back 10 for Pith. 3 SMGs in total, going up against the Pistols. Cold's got armor. If difference it makes, drive-by shooting for Forrest. Down goes Taco. NIP. Decent control, and as well with this, having just one nice shot from Freiburg. The ensuing round after losing the gun, they'll start to build up some economy on these SMGs if they can find the kills. In fact, $6,000 still in exist right now. Get right finding that kill. That's going to put him back before the round even concludes at 1850. They should almost have a round in hand if they do this correctly.
This should be a double eco going forward as well. CTs will only get $1,900 in the next round. There's 2 players on around $1,000. They're going to have to take another eco here. This could be 6-1 in the third and final map here. NIP looking very promising to take this third map. We'll see what comes in. SK Gaming purchasing a max 7 there. That's in the hands of Coldzera. He's got a bit more residual cash than his teammates, so that's not a huge deal. He passes off to Fallen as well. So what have they got up their sleeve here? Going to be buying a few more Deagles and PT-50s. No HE grenades, which is common in these sort of purchases. You want to do that airstrike towards the B platform there, but for now, Deagles, 1 smoke, and Fallen with the max 7. Let's see what he tries to do here towards the broken wall area.
For the only one on the A site, it's going to play a little bit closer. We said there's possibilities for these shotguns. Bomb drop down as well inside of the B tunnels. Means both directions could still be approached from NIP. They know the situation again. They're playing very passive. They're playing very smart in these anti-ecos. You touched on that last map as well.
Yeah, it's not giving anything away. They're making sure they're a tight unit on either side of the map, watching the B halls, watching for any boost coming in, and they've got long A control as well. Pit checks towards danger. They can actually see there's no CTs in this position anymore, so they actually can do a full execution and give themselves the maximum possible chance of winning this round.
Not to say the site itself is completely void of defense, because Taco and Fur are both there. Not exactly in prime positions with pistols to capitalize. Taco might be able to swing in from stables and catch one, but this will be traded because they're now approaching with multiple players in that position at long. There it is, there's the swing. There's more than he's worth, gets 2, Taco. Lovely stuff. Forrest does respond to catch out Fur, but he's still got headshot potential, Taco. 3 quick kills, finally Get Right puts him down. That gives the man advantage to SK. Fortunately, from the perspective of NIP, they haven't been able to grab rifles on this, but look at the rotation that it's caused. They've got 25 seconds. They've got to go on A. They've got a player at barrels that can be baited in, and FNX has exist down. Get Right's got it all to do, and he falls as well. Lovely work from Taco.
One of the crispest PD-50 rounds I think we've seen in quite a while there. They didn't really have much to work with. A couple of PD-50 CZs and a Mag 7. Taco completely destroys them. What a play this was. Just look how calm and calculated it is as well. That second shot, unbelievable. Third one pretty much wins around at this point. Really, really strong stuff from Taco there. Gives a lifeline towards SK Gaming. They've saved up that Max 7. They bring that into round number 8 here, and they've got the rifles to work with as well. Not so much in terms of reset potential now. They've got a bit more money left over in the bank, but still, it's still will be looming As we're going to run number 8, NIP with 5 rifles, and all the utility they need is Piff goes down to 10 HP.
Tagged up as Pith early, but Get Right. He'll find the opening kill onto Cold. What a win to get. You talked about double eco territory. Well, that gives them guns up, but gotta convert it. They've got to find victories on the CT side. One round we saw the op come up. Haven't seen it much for Fallen otherwise. Get Right, he'll commit to this. Flash goes over, he's a little bit early and looks the wrong direction, so he actually gets blinded, but thankfully no one at Chicken Coop to capitalize for a wide peek. FNX the closest at this point. They have brought Taco a little bit onto the statue, but he gets taken down immediately. FNX responding, has to watch drop as well. Freiburg. Rear entry makes it work. Inside the smoke, Fur. Here's bomb going in. Can't even find the player though. He's surrounded by that smoke, completely engulfed in it, and as a result, when he walks back out, Exist has the position. It's Fallen again on the shotgun, last alive, and after winning a great round, money suddenly haunts them again as NIP make their 6th onto the board.
There it is. The B play comes in, it's Get Right. Just lurking in that smoke, finds the first frag. His teammates start to come join him at that point. They go together, the smokes are down, and no one can really get going there on the SK side. They can't string rounds here either. That's only their 2nd, and they've been reset once again. They're going to have to go for, it seems like a force by Matt. Coldzera has gone all in. And he's got himself a CZ, FNX with the M4. This could be the beginning of the end. Might require a double eco after this if they don't win this round, and it's looking unlikely. 1 shotgun, 3 pistols, and FNX on the M4A4. A quick play through the smoke. It's going to be Forrest this time with the UMP in hand, looking for an armored head. It's not going to find any just yet. They haven't worked out it's actually a force by coming in, but still, the majority of the players for SK on the A side of the map.
Cold in the corner. Finds anything with the CZ, jumps up, flashes in, finds Pith, who had an 8 out, gets away as well as the smokes come through. Again, they find opening kills with these pistols, and Cold, he's still in a prime position. The M4 walks back over, and FNX gets the shot. The 1 rifle, it's paying off for them in low HP. Bomb drop temporarily. Cold's trying to wait for this. They're going to boost on top of the tree. He stays inside of the smoke, but he spots it. They have no idea, and Cold goes back out again on the B site. He steps up on the CT side, and again without weapons, SK are going to take a round away. Get Right trying to do what he can, but he's completely surrounded, and Cold does it alone.
4 kills, the Coldzera is lurking in that smoke, waiting for the perfect time to strike at that point. NIP a little bit reluctant to go into the side, didn't want to commit. They were waiting for the smoke to die down. The boost comes in, and Coldzera, look at this timing. So idyllic for him. He finds a headshot with the CZ and actually manages to take down 4 down overall. It's going to be another lifeline for SK Gaming, a force buy that works in their favor once more. But once again, they have to invest into this round and they lose it. It's another force buy situation or eco. They need to start stringing some rounds together here. This time they've got some AKs though, but still struggling in terms of the AWP. 3 players, I think, make it 2 towards long A. Going to be challenging more, it seems, this time as Fallen waits for the flashbangs.
Interesting way to bait it in as well, because you're playing 2 on the Bales side. Normally you set a crossfire, so that could work for them, and it does. The unfortunate part is that they had 3 players there. The 3rd was FNX. He got found by Freiburg, and Fur's gone so low. It should be picked up, but
low HP.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and that, my friend, is a bullet from Fur. He's brought this back to 3 versus 3.
Yeah, I thought Fur was dead to rights there. Freiburg should have taken him down, but the crouch P coming in, takes it on. 3 on 3 now. Forrest just on that Tech 9.
He's got good position, though.
Where is he?
Fur knows he's somewhere inside of the site, but can't find him. He's wrapped behind the APC. Fur's a sitting duck at this point in time. Does try and find the look. Forrest has the advantage of that low HP, and now he can cover off these rotations. It's not a fake this time. Last time he was holding off these positions, these rotations. They snuck in the B site. They're going to go on this time. They've cleaned out A in its entirety. Cold tries to cover the crossover, but can't do anything with the AK. And guns picked up. AK's out. Forrest on the Tech 9. Don't have much ground to walk on at this point. SK is Cold, just with the smoke dissolving in front of the connector now, is thinking otherwise. They both do have kits, so they've got a little bit to work with in terms of finding these picks, but good post-plant positions coming off. Good shot to come back through. Get Right takes down Taco. It's low HP as well on Cold. And this could be the 7th round for NIP. I dare say it is, as they start to walk in behind him. Let's not get too committed to walking out early, but thankfully, just inside of the site, Exist is still there.
Long A is becoming a real nuisance here for SK Gaming. They're sending 3 players there in that position this time. They're trying different setups, but the flashbangs come in. It was an equal exchange, to be fair, but then we're falling back. We've got Forrest, who's made it up to APC undetected. He takes down further as low HP, and the retake at that point is just an absolute nightmare for SK Gaming. Money's in the bin once again. They can't string anything together here. $1,400 coming into their bank account to do buy the Max 7 once more on the CZ. But to be fair, Matt, the only rounds they're really posting are these force buys and these eco rounds. We had the P250, amazing performance from Taco. Maybe they can repeat that once again, as he has that same weapon. But it should be very unlikely. So far, NIP have played a very strong game, just letting themselves down in those really important situations.
Smoke's bounced over to cover off bottom of middle. We said this map couldn't allow the CTs to get as aggressive. That certainly proved to be true. We touched on the fact as well that economy to cover off choke points becomes an issue, and it certainly has been for SK. They've not had weapons, they've not had ample smokes. And usually we talk about early smokes going out on B to bleed them out in terms of long, drop, those being the issues. This has been all A, like you just mentioned last round.
Yeah. Well, at this point, when they're getting long A control every single time, they're pushing the CTs back. They still have their utility to work with as well. It doesn't seem like there's an answer for this moment. I'd like SK to be more defensive at this point. Let's get Fallen on the orbit, hit him on the site, allow NIP to commit first. So far, they're losing their altercations towards long A, and it's been a real problem for them.
For once, they may go toward this shotgun. Remember, 2 of the wins from SK came with equipped weaponry. 4 spies, and the shotgun does find one this time. Headshot as well, chance for 2. Drops bomb a third time, can't land it onto Pith. So it does give some breathing space to NIP, but it calls for the rotations as well. Good shot from Pith and far. Knows Fallen's trying to shoulder bait out behind the tree as well, and as he does so, they try and capitalize on a boost back in from Taco. He's at long. He's trying to catch off on a flank. Freiburg spots him, but Cold gets get right. It's still a 2 versus 2. No reverse boost onto tree. They can't afford to do so. Both players staring them down. Fallen still baiting out. Good damage in as he gets a dink onto Pith.
There it is.
But Freiburg walks in a lineup, and NIP find 8.
You can see how tentative they were. They can't lose another anti-eco, surely. We were praising them at the beginning of this game, saying that's what they're so good at. But there's been so many slip-ups in these sort of rounds, and it came very close once again for opening things up with some great work there. With the Mag 7, you can see maybe wanted to use a few more flashbangs there, smoke off those key positions there, trying to do it a little bit more simply, but we're going to round number 12. Still not fully recovered. It's going to be SK Gaming with a Pyjamas, a UMP, 1 kit, Fallen with the AWP, sure, but he's got no grenades to work with here. He'll be going aggressive, though. That's what we want to see. He takes down Forest to open things up.
That's exactly what we want to see. The AWP coming out, finally working for them as well. FNX follows up on Get Right. It's not impossible to think this half could close out 9-6, 8-7 if SK can get the momentum again, but it's going to be Pith pushing on. Fallen found. No rotation back from Fur to get to the top of middle. He's sitting right now in behind the half wall. Good shot as a result, because if he can't cross back over, it's the site gone already. And they wouldn't need much utility to hold off the rotations, but this does leave it to a 4 versus 2. Freiburg, overlooked perhaps by Fur, who goes hunting instead for Exist, and thankfully will take him down, giving the bomb up.
Yeah.
And they know exactly where Freiburg is.
Fur, some very, very important kills there. And if had he been taken down at that point, could have fallen apart in the 2-on-2, but still, we have got Freiburg alive with time to work with as well. No nades for him, but the CTs actually going to be isolating him in towards this A side. Taco playing with fire, but does manage to get out and get the information.
Freiburg starts to go back the other direction as well, but Q stage right. I'm not sure Cold's got quite the lineup. Doesn't exactly have a shot, but he's there. And you'll hear him walking back out. Headshot comes through. Keep the AWP in the hands of First, so that'll be carried over into the next round, and now they can try, with 3 players staying live, to get something rolling. They don't have that much further to go to break NIP as well.
I think they have already.
And they have, you're right.
Wow, there it is. Finally, we can maybe string a couple of rounds together here. SK Gaming being a bit more assertive at the start. It's Fallen with the AWP finally. He's on 2 for 10 right now, but one of the kills he gets here in the previous round is actually maybe one of the most important so far for the team. He takes that down, he's able to fall back, and then Fur managing to step up there with the M4A4. Once again, Fallen trying to make something happen here at the start of the round. Good time to do it. You can see it. It's a slight force by here, but Fur backing him up once again. He'll be finding that first frag.
Picked again.
Oh no.
He stands in the open with the smoke. There's easier ways to throw that. Bounce it. And timing is everything. Is Get Right at the exact same moment takes down FNX. NIP can work on this again. Fallen elevated high on top of the site. Elects to jump back down as he spots one at the bottom of middle, but Get Right has prime position. Catches Taco, working him back through the vents. Tries to go for Fallen, has to reload Fallen. He's in a weird position though, nearly hits the shot. Doesn't matter though, Exists there. Get Right still in this with 10 HP. Means it's a 3 versus 1 on Cold Zero. He is slipping in on a flank from the bottom of middle. We talked about stringing rounds together though. This is so important for them if they want to try and continue with money. Because right now, everyone on the SK side, he's got the most, 3,200, is pretty much broke. He's got in a position to try and capitalize on Exist. Spots the head, does find one, looks toward long, wrong position to find though, there's 2. It's Get Right, 10 HP, close on the site, looks over to underneath balcony. Thankfully, Get Right's not peeking back in the direction of him, and he's gonna get spotted down by Pith in the end.
Well, there it is. Get right, I have to say. Fantastic flank coming in there, just as his teammates show their hand heavily towards middle as well. It's Fur to find that initial frag, but Get Right comes in and somehow gets him towards the balcony, completely undetected as well. Fallen did what he could, lands an absolutely amazing headshot there towards mid. But Get Right comes into the balcony, takes him down, and we have another nightmare situation for SK this time. It's going to have to be the force by coldzera, the only one of any weaponry here. He's got the M4A4 in hand, his teammates with pistols around him. And then Ninja surely going to close out on anti-eco. It seems like no one can at the moment.
Taco Cold FNXB, with Cold finally getting up underneath of the arch. Starting to see what little, again, CT aggression you can try and take advantage of come to play, at least for SK.
Yeah.
And it's the rifle, the one gun they're going to try and put in that position.
Just to set the scene for you here, Matt, if NIP win this round, it basically means 2. It will be 11-4. They'll have absolutely no money going into the next round. This force spike is pushing it a little bit, but let's see what they can do. It's been successful before, but coldzera is taking damage. He goes down to 9 HP, but just about survives. They might want to throw the M4 over to a teammate at this point. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, smartly so. Taco, come get it. Very, very slow from NIP.
They're just trying to feel the map out and work out what kind of buy is coming in. They know there's a force buy, but bleed out any potential nades. More of the same towards long A. Push them back, get this first frag. Pitt's been so good in this position at actually finding these frags.
Current Fallen in behind the guys of smoke down at the bottom of this position, but Fallen loses himself in it. I'm sure he thought he was still inside of the smoke entirely. Forrest walks in and he's just sitting there. Get Right may get a little bit hot and toasty with that Molotov getting tossed in from Fur, but he has just given himself up. They know he's at bottom mid, and I think they're going to boost up in the corner to try and find him. Not quite. They're just going to wrap around, make it more simple. And a good shot from Freiburg makes it all too easy. Spray into the smoke. Taco tag, 14, but not downed. And that'll keep the M4 in their hands. As you say, no money.
Yeah, they have
backing away already to just save that one gun. They'll leave FNX close so they can at least call out if there's any aggression toward it.
This was a full force buy. $0, you can see, being pointed out right now. They only get 1,900 into the next round. That's not enough to buy any sort of weaponry here. And FNX, he needs to try and salvage that weapon if he can. He finds one kill. It's only going to get him $300 at this point. He needs to try and pick up the AK-47. Freiburg knows that. He's watching that position like a hawk right now. Taco, not going to be part of this action. He's actually just sit towards the B platform, try and keep the M4 in his hand. Can FNX actually pick up this weapon? Surely not. Okay, maybe he can. Freiburg,
that's big.
Pants down there, it seems.
And thankfully, he's the one with 100 HP.
He didn't even need to commit to that, right? All he had to do is hold the angle, fight the vent, and stop him cross and get the weapon. He actually overcommits there, and maybe gives him a lifeline here. They've managed to pick up an AK-47, and he can drop a UMP for a teammate. They've actually made that a lot more promising for themselves.
But NIP, for the second straight map, have the massive lead as we close in on the first half. Round 15. With those 2 rifles, they've managed to pick up 2 UMPs. They'll go with the CZ on Fur, but they've got decent utility. No kits is the problem, just 1.
If FNX lights them up with the AK-47 now, that last kill will be so important. Let's see how this one goes down. 2 rifles, 2 SMGs, a CZ, and Get Right's made his way through the smoke.
Very fast play from Get Right to get to these stairs. They're not going to be ready for this. Taco considers it. Missed shot from Get Right gives him a bit of a chance for the repeak, but Get Right can very easily and safely get back inside the corridor with those double smokes out and a flash. Make sure Taco doesn't try and spray through and catch him. So maybe a little bit of map control you could argue lost, but it's not crucial. It's the choke point rather than the actual corridor itself.
It's a much more passive setup on the CTs this time. You can see Fallen actually falling back. He's only got that SMG this time. No AWP to work with. First going to be towards the bottom of the middle. Uses the flashbang to try and gain some sort of ground here. Smoke's deployed as well, where Freiburg has got control towards the end of long A. Get Right exists, getting rid of that flank though. A split potential, very strong indeed. But the bomb is still down on the B halls. They're not committing just yet.
Fallen waiting inside stables, not outside where you normally see the wide swing. He's waiting for the commitment. No one inside of the hut or top of the connector to try and catch him off when they push into, so he's pretty much alone on this with Fur at the bottom of the ramp. And the smokes should indicate, yeah, exactly that. He's close up. Fallen's going to do the same in reverse. They're going to push through. Flash in. Doesn't matter. Fallen finds 1, 2 as well. A second and onto the AK. Fur missed times with the reload after taking down Forrest, but Cole rotates in time to save his teammate. And SK, they may get 5 at the end of the half. Exists caught entirely unaware. It's going to be exactly that. 10-5. Great round from Fallen.
Very strange half, I have to say, Matt. A lot of force buy wins. No one seemed to really actually getting a huge amount together, especially SK. They couldn't really get multiple rounds. Economy was a huge burden for them. Most of their round victories actually coming from those CZs, the shotguns, the P250s. a very strange one to watch, but still anyone's game at this point. SK move over to the T side, which is certainly more favored.
Well, we'll see if they can pull it back.
Intel Extreme Masters Oakland is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, G Fuel, Kingwin, iBuyPower, Best Buy, Totino's, Acer, and Xfinity.
One half remains, and NIP definitely have the lead right now over SK. It seems like a long time since the first map train was in their favor. They've played catch up on the last one. They're going to have to do it again here.
Yeah, strange first half to kick things off, but still anyone's game here. SK Gaming managing to pick up that last round with the SMGs and the pistols there. It's going to be 5-10 as they swap over. And 4 sets of armor as they're purchased. Fallen with the Molotov and smoke grenade as we get into this final half of the entire tournament. It's gone the full distance so far, but here we are, NIP versus SK Gaming. One of them looking to take home the lion's share, $300,000.
And Pith, again, stepping up tremendously. He's on 10 kills right now. Frag distribution between both teams, despite the scores, quite close. Which means the rounds were quite evenly contested. There was only a few that were quite lackluster, one-sided, but we're underway. It's going to be kits in just Freiburg's hands, and the rest on armor. Molotov and Flash for Fallen, so 8 people running the Kevlar. Fur's gone fast. He's already inside of the site. 4 spotted barrels. He could be a sitting duck, but he's got Get Right to cover him off. And what a great job he's done, because down goes Fur. Damage in, but back the other way. It's Forrest and Freiburg to fall. FNX tries to rotate back around, catch out exactly where Pith's gone as he gets back inside from the door. As he does so, Get Right goes down, and it's a 4 versus 2. SK. It's going to be the perfect start they need to bring this back to a close crescendo to this IEM Oakland. Smith tries to do what he can. Searches for the doorway behind him because he gets a little caught up on the edge of it. Don't will exist out of this. The problem is the fact that the bomb has been planted, the kit's been downed inside of the site. They've got a long way to go to try and grab it. Exists falling, does get one back, Pit put down this wide peak. What a reaction as he finds FNX. Now he's given himself a bit of an opportunity, but again, time is against him. He's got to go so quickly, spots up a third, gets the shot as well, jumps it over. But again, no time, he's got no kit, doesn't pick it up. Did pick it up, actually. He's going to try and hold this. Taco's going to go for the wide peak. I thought he missed it. So Taco hits the shot. What a job done by Pith to bring that down. Either way, he's picked up some money for himself.
Well, there it is. Very fast and assertive right now from SK Gaming. Is committing towards the A side there. It's almost a perfect read. It was just Forrest by himself on the A side. The rotations come in from Get Right, but still bomb goes down in a very unfavorable situation for NIP. But Pitt brings it down to the 1v1. And with the kid as well, actually had enough time to defuse if he went for it at that point, but it was going to be taken down in the 1v1. We have got the 4 HE grenades now. We call this the airstrike. When you go towards that B side, you wait for the commitment towards that upper platform, and he dropped them on top of them. But actually focusing towards drop down at this point, not doing a tremendous amount of damage, but some.
It's quite clever, actually, to throw them that early on drop down, because the difference of going to long is you're not sure they're going to be there. But pretty much every default runs through those B tunnels, so you get some damage rather than none at all. And as a result, they get Fur on 64, Cold on 77.
It's not necessarily a full investment here on the second round. When you have these kind of leads on the CT half, you want to leave some residual cash for the grenades and not get yourself in that position. If you lose the first gun round, you're in a horrible position going forward. So they're going to have P250 short and an HE grenade, but they haven't got the armor. Get Right does fully invest with the Nova and body armor, but taking a little bit of a risk and see if he can just find one kill. That's the high risk, high reward kind of scenario of the Nova. You get $900 per kill with that weapon.
Cold and Taco trying to work toward this B site. That's the right choice as we see it. That stack existing on A. Speaking of, it's Fallen that's going to start to evaluate that. Get the information, gets tagged heavily as well, down to 19. The only challenge over at the B site, gone. Exist gets found at Broken Wall. They're not quite convinced to walk in just yet, but as they go, they'll realize it is going to be the correct decision, and Fallen should make that call now, having gone down to Forest. So, enter the bomb, cue the plants. FNX to do so. Boost going back up. This should put them in a position for exits.
Yeah, they got PD50s. They picked up a UMP as well. The Nova's still running with Get Right, so it was another little A stack coming in from NIP. And unfortunately for them, SK Gaming opting to go towards the B side. It's going to be Exist taken down, bomb planted, like he said. And it was in the NIP just trying to save what they can, try and get some exit frags here. Freiburg's the first player to go down, but it's Forrest. He's got the SMG along with Get Right, and teammates are going to start falling at this point, but still just going to try and hold these weapons towards T-spawn.
They should get away with it entirely. So better than nothing, I suppose, going into the next round, but still it'll be SK with weapons and NIP with just these two. It's a 10-7.
Yeah, well, it's a clean round overall for SK Gaming, keeping 4 players alive as well. Not really much NIP can do with even with the saved weapon, and he can't really justify force into this round. So Get Right, he still has his Nova in the body armor as well. Forrest with that SMG. There's a replay now of Colzera, some lovely shots there from the UMP to find 2 headshots and drop down. But here we go then. 3 SMGs still rolling for SK Gaming. 2 MAC-10s. Very mobile indeed. Up against these unarmored players as well. Should be quite easy pickings here as they go into another default. Don't need to overcommit, don't need to rush. And you can see there, there's a little CT there, trying to get a little bit cheeky there. I think that was Freiburg with the PD50 trying to find that first kill, but can't really find anything for it.
Freiburg gets a little bit up close and personal with Fallen. Probably not advised. He goes down to the UMP. This is going to be the one to cover off the drop room, and Fur easily takes him down with a headshot. We'll see if there's a bit of a change in terms of drop. We didn't see a lot of emphasis on it in the last half from NIP. Good shot from Get Right in return, but Cold's able to find him as they've already walked in from long at B, and he's wrapped all the way through. That's usually a talking point, a constant talking point, that drop position, and we haven't seen much of it so far.
Well then, just Forrest remaining now, SMG in hand. Certainly a viable weapon to take over into the first gun round, but I don't think that's going to happen. Fallen will find him, and there it is. A pretty much clean sweep there from SK Gaming, just dropping 1 frag. Get Right. Importantly, he gets one with a Nova, so that boosts his economy going forward. And here we go then. Pitt comes in with the AWP on the first gun round. Like I said, he didn't really fully commit in the second round. They want to make sure they have this as an option, have a kit, some utility to work with as well. It's looking quite good. And Pitt, he's actually got a decent spawn. He could go towards middle if he's feeling like it. Looks like he will just be opting towards B, the safer option. And we still have Fallen on the SMG. Looking like there's only 5 players with a heavy commitment towards B at this point. Could just be a straight up B rush here. Will be smoked out. There's still no one towards the A side of the map.
Everyone set for execution. Fast hit. And the position's now crucial. Exist is going to play toward that chicken coop. He's favoring off to the left side, the conservative approach to bait them in toward Pith and Get Right. He wants to get forward to these smokes. They're deep smokes, so it's not a perfect wall. There's a gap in behind the tree. Pith's got some room to work with on this AWP, and Get Right, he's gotten extremely close, down to Fallen as he jumps back in with the UMP and the AWP gone. But look at Freiburg, oh, only one. He gets countered out immediately. It's all Exist, though. He did wait the entire time. Pops out late, drops the bomb. We didn't quite see it. It's on to Fur now, coming in from the drop position, and he's got no idea. Immediately to his left, Forrest is waiting in the cubby. Shots come through, gives him away. Forrest waits and takes him down.
Well, very well recovered there. I thought Pitts had thwarted his chances of actually winning that round by missing a couple of sitters there towards the upper platform, but Exist stepping up. I believe he's towards the chicken coop as well. It's a full execution from SK Gaming. It's a bit of a Hail Mary play. You're assuming the CTs don't have much money to work with. You're not normally anticipating the AWP there. They do the full execution that's designed to take the AWPs out of the game, and that wasn't really the problem. It's Exist lying in the back who finds 2 kills and gets NIP back into this one. 11-8. Still money available here, and that's going to be shown with the AWP purchase. And Forrest this time, he's got the AWP. He'll be going too aggressively towards middle, but Fallen running through fire. Does get a kill, but Freiburg takes him down from the grave.
Little smiley face in chat immediately after from Freiburg. Fallen responds with, a dead man is a dead man.
So he knows he's dead from the Molotovs. He thought, I'm going to take you down with me, Freiburg.
So that leaves us 4-4. Push up from Pith. He's already inside of the B corridor. First time we've seen anyone get this far up. Cold. Very passive angle, and it's aggressive all the way around from NIP. Taco catches out Get Right, though. Doesn't quite open up the A site because Forrest isn't far behind exactly where his teammate dropped, but Pitt's going to get aggressive, go around, and Cold's waiting. So the aggression from NIP the whole way around doesn't work. We saw it on Cash where it did. This time, it's the opposite effect, 4 versus 2.
Exist and Forrest now to hold them off. They are on other sides of the map, so they do have presence there, especially Forrest and towards danger. The problem is the bomb will be heading in towards drop down. Currently in the hands of Cold Zera. They've got plenty of time to work with here. Don't need to overcommit. Just try and work out whether it's a double stack on one side of the map or whether they are split up indeed. And Exist now. He was a snake in the grass before in that chicken coop area. With 30 seconds remaining at this point, if he finds 1 kill and can stay alive and just keep them interested in him while the rotation comes in from Forrest, he could stand a chance there. Very unlikely. Let's see if he can find anything with this position.
Cold leads the way through. Back to back for Exist in the same position. Can't imagine exactly that. They're going to allow it. Molotov goes in instantly, tries to flash his way back out. Does still find 1, but stays in the flames a little bit too long. Bomb in for FNX. 8 seconds left on the clock, so they do it timely. Forrest's AWP, I imagine, will be heading for the hills, perhaps even the Rapunzel Tower to just sit and wait.
Yeah, like we said, Exist, very unlucky to do much with that position. Gets Molotoved as well. That certainly doesn't help the proceedings. He gets 1 kill. Not really going to be enough at that point. It's refragged straight away by SK Gaming. And like I said, Forrest is saving this AWP. The problem is that's a pretty harsh reset. But I guess the good news is he's got the AWP to take the next round. If they did have a superstar player, let's say someone like Fallen or Guardian, that can be very influential. Forrest certainly capable of the weapon, but you don't really expect him to be able to go absolutely ham on this map and be able to open things up by himself while he's surrounded by pistols. So he may be able to find a couple of openings here or there. It's difficult on Cobble, though. We described it at the beginning of the game. It's difficult to find any sort of aggressive pushes on Cobble, especially on the CT side. And this is where he said a dead man is a dead man. You can see he's got Molotovs either side of him. Might as well try and take one down with him. Everyone seems to be burning alive here in round number 20.
Seems to be a more common trend that people are committing to frags inside of flames.
It's just
they understand trades.
It's not expected, to be fair, right? So you're just thinking, oh, no one's going to push through there. But you can get a kill, especially on the T side, moving down to a 4-4. That's actually quite beneficial for your teammates.
And Forrest will keep the AWP as well, because keep in mind, Pith has been CT side opping for them. But he's not gone overly aggressive. He's actually just sitting at the top of the CT side of mid, waiting for the push through. I'll make his way to the stairwell. This is close with him. Different weaponry between the 2 pistols, one on a Deagle, one on a P250. Freiburg again is getting close to the pills. Taco, shoulder shown, fires back in. Freiburg baited in on those shots. Has to run because the AK is approaching far too quickly to contend with. That's where the AWP is as well, and Forrest can't hit the shot on FNX. Good shot from Freiburg. Brings the AWP immediately back into it, but it's Freiburg on it. No rotation over quite yet. In fact, Pith gone down, so can't get that over into his hands. He'll have to hold on to it himself. He's gone back to the same position before started the round in, and this will rotate the bomb back over. They've been discouraged. Cold instead. Battle with Exist. Does take a dink, but wins the kill. That should bring bomb entirely onto B.
Yeah, well, at this point they know Freiburg has got the AWP towards middle. He's going to be rotating to the B side, but we can see it's actually going to be around the mid doors for now. Get right with a chance to do something about this, but they will be going for the safer bet. It's sticking as a full-man unit towards the B bomb side, but like I said, Freiburg is there. Not known for his AWP prowess, but let's see if we can find anything here.
He's got a passive angle for when they commit to the site. They've got 1 smoke to cover that exact position. They don't do it, don't need to. Not with shots like that from Cold. And Bomb again to be planted quite simply. As Get Right at least picks up an AK-47. It's something to salvage. He'll wait back out toward the statue as well.
SK Gaming starting to tie things up here as well. And to be fair, it should be another eco coming from NIP, earning $900 once again after winning that 4th round and a hard reset coming in. Get Right trying to save the AK-47 the best he can. He will be towards the B halls, just holding for any exits at this point. Not really worth SK Gaming going for it, like we said. It's just try and stick together and try and refrag if possible. They're going to be exiting through connector, it seems, as well, and drop down. Just making sure there's no ninjas lying around in more ways than one. And the one we're exploding 11-10 here. Get Right will be surviving with his AK-47. Cold Zero, like you said, a great shot of the Freiburg, who was waiting with the AWP, but not really much NIP could do with that round. They had 1 AWP, 4 pistols, unless Forrest could find some very aggressive peaks at the start of the round. It was very unlikely he could actually do anything with it.
1 round separates map 3.
Friendly chicken.
Finally, they cheer about something, and I cheer about chicken too.
Yeah.
I'd eat that chicken right now. I'm kind of hungry. It's going to be Forrest and Freiburg again over toward A. And it's going to be just that AK for Get Right. He's toward drop room. He'll try and hold that off again. Very passive from SK. It seems to be the trend where economy and anti-ecos in this game are all we're seeing, and we're seeing them play quite smart and disciplined from both sides.
Well, Get Right, he's got the AK-47. He'll actually be towards the connector for now, but Bird is clearing that position now. He's actually had quite a lot of vision there. He's worked out there's no real presence from the CTs at all in that position, so he can drop into that if he wants to. But you can see it's very similar to what NIP were doing before. It's going to be Taco, joined by Fallen as well. He's using the flashbang to get some long air control. Just seeing if there is a stack here. Forrest will be waiting on the other side, but not really much he can do here. The beating 50. Taco blows his head off there and brings it to a 5-on-4 in favor of SK.
Good pick to find early on as well, because it'll start to open up rotations and movement from the defense. Most notably, they need to figure out exactly where Get Right is with that weapon. It's not yet been spotted over toward B, but that may not matter in the end if they can continue to find openings on A. Also gets a quick shot on toward Exist. They have rotated all 4 players on this side of the map. Fallen and Taco, they might be separated from their team, but they're making the right calls as a result, because Bomb's heading toward, once again, an open B site, and Taco's going to find Exist as well. Doesn't exactly spot the cross, but now they know exactly where the AK is. Commit to B, Bomb going in. And the plant should follow quite quickly and quite easily.
Indeed, well,
shot. That's
okay.
Pretty decent through the door, actually, because what this does is pull this back to a 3 versus 2, and they've gone to get a gun on Freiburg. He may not have armor, but now it's 2 AKs in this, and they can actually start to commit because they'll be able to buy in the next. No kits, though, is a bigger problem. Get Right holding for an angle, tries to fire a quick shot over top of the ledge. FNX not quite caught by it, but now he's got better position as he jumps back up. 2 versus 2, no one's out toward long. And Get Right's pushing further and further in, putting further pressure onto Cole to try and peek this back. Remember, no kits becomes a problem. That's ticking far too quickly, and he's not quite in a position to cover him. Freiburg, lovely shot from Cole, should wrap the round alone as Freiburg's committed. First shot in success, does towards some reinvestment, but Fallen keeps his AWP.
Still very close indeed. Comes down to a 1v1, and that's 1 AK in the hands of Get Right, finding 3 kills there. Looking very strong indeed. And comes down to the 2-on-2, but there's no kits, like he said. They're just trying to take some money out of the hands of SK Gaming. We go into round number 23. We tied things up at 11-11. 5 M4s across the board.
It's our score, Henry.
And 1 defuse kit. That's it.
Fallen off is going to wait for any aggression all the way through. Again, we see that airstrike, and it's on to drop. They're trying to just find early damage in this case. Again, with weapons up, they can just get the shots down, especially with M4s. Into 1 bullet territory. That's a benefit. Fur does go down to 64. He's the only one that takes damage from it, but it also means he can go, or there has to go, a little bit more passive in trying to pursue drop. Smoke out at long as well is going to dictate the pace for at least the start of this. That's the utility we talked about baiting out, because they've just thrown a secondary flash, and I believe they've re-smoked that as well. No, not quite, not yet. So still have a little bit to work with on the CT side, but it's all actually going to be Molotovs left. No smokes to work with.
This is very textbook so far from SK Gaming. They've got control of danger as well. Smoked off long A. This will be clearing that side of the map out. The bomb's still down in B hall, so like we said before, taking this vision away from the CTs, trying to find that first pick if possible. Problem is, NIP don't really have an AWP on the A side, can't really have that turret set up on that side of the map. That's why they have to commit 2 players there for now. Comes in the Molotovs, very effective at flushing CTs out in this upper platform position. Pit and Exist trying to boost up here and try and challenge.
Pit boosted. Box in front, waiting for someone to push in. Exist rather for anyone to push in through that smoke and catch them off before they enter to try and use that to their advantage. 29 seconds, they've got to go. Bomb in the hands of Fur. Smoke gone, so Exist down below in the box, but Flash comes through. His timing could be everything on the peak. Exist gets taken down. Pitt's got the response. He's got a lineup, takes the bomb as well. Never mind the kill on the A site, because that bomb is everything with 15 seconds fall in response to take Pith. It should bring the plant in as well, and Get Right needs to be careful of the rotations coming back into connector. Can't get there to deny the plant, but does take the planter down immediately after, and Freiburg cleans up. It's all onto Taco, and his position's not prime to at least get on to Get Right away, but he doesn't hold, doesn't commit, puts him at long, takes the first kill. He now has the advantage. He's got a Molotov as well. Freiburg, no kit, so close, can't get the kill when the Molotov comes out. That might wrap the round alone. As Freiburg gets aggressive, knows he has to go into that corner, is gonna check it, baits out the shoulder, and Taco again. How solid has he been all tournament long?
Every single clutcher seems to be stepping up time and time again. A true superstar this tournament. Taco, 2 versus 1. You could see Get Right there trying to bait him out of the upper platform. He actually had no idea. He could have full defuse at that point and actually got away with it. And this is really smart from Taco. I thought it was a bit risky. Like you said, he's exposed at that point, but still he lands a Molotov on top of the bomb with no kit as well. Freiburg has to go for the kill. It's a huge round to pick up, and SK Gaming take the lead at this point, 12-11. And it's going to be another eco for an IP. Not really bringing too much to the table as well. Fast play towards middle, though. A little bit risky, but Fallen gets that first frag. Forrest strikes back, but quickly shut down as well.
Hesitant to set that crossfire early. Forrest wasn't quite in position. Again, we're seeing anti-ecos. Success rate much unbroken, aside from a few quick rounds early on from SK in the first half. It's stabilized ever since. 1 versus 4 for Exist and NIP. We haven't seen a lot of the timeouts come in. May need to start thinking about that as we're getting on to championship ending territory.
I don't think we've seen a single pause on Cobble so far. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. You think there's so much on the line right now. There's been so many weird rounds in this game. Surely you just take a breather and just work out how you're going to approach it, maybe work out the money a little bit more. But still, there it is. SK Gaming really running away with the second half. It's 8-1 right now. 13-11, finally money coming back into favor of NIP. Not out of it just yet. They can bring a double up. Oh God, here we go, Matt. It's going to be the auto sniper back out once again. A bit of a crowd favorite. And it's going to be Forrest with the AWP as well.
Crowd favorite, maybe.
Yeah.
When you're not in the server against it. It's Exist once more that's going to wield it. Is it desperation or is it a curve?
He did well towards the end of Cash with it. Some very influential kills, especially towards that mid area.
Oh, I was thinking Taco was going to go fast. The smoke's come out just in time to slow them down. All 5 players here for SK as well. No push up on the A site to get that information from NIP. And Exist is relying on no utility to move him from that chicken coop again. The last time they went, they did flush him out, but the round before, keep in mind, because of the way Pith and Get Right played, they pulled the aggro and they never pushed him back. Freiburg's gonna hold off the drop. 3 players down in that position. Molotov goes back in from Freiburg. That'll contain them from going toward window and lock them inside E-Box. And Cold, he's gonna wait for that smoke to dissolve. And as he does, Pith walks through. Bit of an overcommitment from him. I believe he thought they were going backwards on it, and they are now. But that's only because they got a kill to bring this back to just a 1-man advantage for NIP.
He's opened the window now. Get Right on low HP, and Pip pushing into the drop down. It wasn't really required considering the situation. Get Right now, dangerous position. Cold Zero doesn't face at the right time. But still, a possible round for SK Gaming still.
Get Right rotating back in B does fortify, okay, where the bomb goes down, but it opens up the possibility for them to take over that drop position for a split. I don't think that's entirely what's going to happen in terms of wrapping back to A, as bomb is looking increasingly toward B. Keep in mind, we still have Exist. He's the curve in this. Chicken coop with the auto sniper, baits out, shot, still finds the head. Taco down, he's got another chance! Exist on the auto! It works once more, and it's just Cold remaining. He's gonna find it as well. I'm not gonna doubt Exist anymore on that weapon.
It's a crowd pleaser, Matt, and the stadium erupts as he finds 3 kills towards the end there. Some life still in NIP, it seems. That's only their second round here in the second half, but still a very close game. 13-12 is the replay right now. Just walking into the crosshair couldn't be more ideal for him as he finds Taco first and ends up with 3 kills in total. FNS gets the same treatment there. Lovely work. It's a last-minute desperation call in for NIP, and it works out tremendously. Still money available, of course, for SK Gaming. The AWP comes back in for Fallen. As we go into round number 26, we'll go in the distance here on Cobble.
Taco boosted right side to cover off any push through. Freiburg, Forrest, a little more passive inside A this time, looking to get an early rotation back over toward B. SK only lead by 1. Cut back slightly. They've got only a buy-in hand on Taco, actually. So this actually matters both ways. Whoever loses this is going to be broken. For NIP, that could be masterful because Pulls them back to 13-13 for SK. It could almost be the game. It'll put them 14-12. That's Nico. Smokes to go down, bounce through, cover off right side. Flames will prohibit Fur from dropping in and going off to the left. A quick flash as well. And they'll slowly take the position in it. We've seen Shocks do this under the greatest amount of confidence. Drop down with an AWP, and I won't doubt Fallen for finding an opening because they masked him getting in here with, oh, a flash, and exactly that, Fallen. Fast reactions finds Pith. Now they know he's there, so they can't overstep inside of the site. Instead, they've got to watch toward Long to make sure he doesn't get a support team in place so they can pinch in for the bomb plant, and they're pulling the rotations early. The auto sniper's trying to tap in over top as Get Right as well, doing the same with the AK, but he's got to move away from that position toward the stairwell, and as he does, Taco finds it exists again. Not this time. Cole denies it. Forrest on the site only gets one as FNX pulls back in. It's all onto Freiburg. He's got it back down to a 1 versus 2. Bomb is in front of him, but Fur is directly behind.
Well, there it is. What an opening shot it was from Fallen. Like you said, we saw Shoxy with that same sort of approach before when they were playing Envious, but this is such a sick shot from Fallen. Opens things up, and the B-bomb site falls to pieces there, as Exist can only find 1 kill with the auto sniper. Forrest tries to help out, but just leaves Freiburg in a 3 versus 1. That's it, and now the money. It's in the bin map. 14-12, they're coming in with SMGs, shotguns, and 2 M4s there. Very little utility as well. This could be the GG round. After this, they only get $1,900. SK Gaming now in touching distance of taking the championship.
Pith getting into the corner to do whatever he possibly can. And as you're right, this force buy is everything. Shotgun as well for Pith.
Well, we did see SK Gaming win a lot of these rounds with very similar weaponry. You don't favor an IP, but there's always hope. Especially when the shotguns are out on Cobble. 2 M4s and Freiburg on that 5-7.
3 men over towards Statue at A side for SK. Taco's slowly going to start to push, gather what information he can at long A. No one there from the NIP side, but he'll take no chances. Can't afford to at this point in time in the tournament. A fight back again from SK on this map, and they've got a hefty situation in front of them in terms of momentum and opportunity. Forrest is in the doorway though. Nade's going through, he knows they're there. First headshot, completely unscathed. He'll reset his location, but he's got to make sure his teammate is fully covering off behind him at bottom and middle. That's Freiburg's job. With him safely there, he can still try and push back into this long position, but smartly SK's not going to overcommit. In fact, they're just going to hold this position for FNX, and if Forrest gets too aggressive, he'll walk back out into his crosshairs.
Well, that first kill was very important indeed. A lot of work to do here. They've fallen. That's an interesting decision. And Freiburg capitalizes, taking them down with the 5-7 there. Suddenly there's a chance for an IP, but first fighting back.
And Fur fighting back in a right time. Although Forrest is there, catches bomb, because I was going to say that FNX got in behind Forrest, but he elects to go immediately into the site instead. It might have been too soon because Forrest staying alive has dictated the course of this round. It's over. 3 seconds, no plant possibility, and FNX needs to make sure he stays alive here. If he goes down after the round, it's no money. I think they've got enough to work with. Smartly, he gets away from the fight, and he'll keep that AK.
No, the money's not like great.
Actually have, you're right, he's at 24.50. That could have been huge, and finally we get a pause coming in from SK.
Well, Forrest, just when they need him, he rises to the occasion there from danger. 3 great kills of him using that M4 to full effect. I have to say, that commitment from Fallen, uncalculated potentially, as Freiburg finds it with the 5-7 there. The round falls apart. As I said, had SK won that round up against it, they could have actually closed the game out then and there.
And here's a thought. When you consider where we were in Pro League in Brazil with multiple timeouts, back-to-back, the new rule finally getting exploited, and I will say that word. This is the first time out in two maps, and both of those maps went almost all 30 rounds.
It's true. Wow. We have got SK Gaming now still with the lead, but in a very difficult financial situation. It's around 2K across the board. I think we've got Cold Zero on a little bit more than that. FNX, he saves an AK-47. His teammates not forcing into this one. It's a partial buy, but we do know how deadly SK Gaming are with the Tech-9s. This certainly isn't going to be a clean-cut affair. This game has been very interesting in terms of the force buys. The lesser weaponry seem to deliver every single time. The friendly chicken is back.
I like him. You said he was friendly. I won't eat him. Just the other one.
He first made his appearance in Cologne 2015. And he seems to be joining us in Oakland as well.
Tech-9 Taco, AK FNX. He's the only one. Full Glock for Fallen. Glock buy is my favorite buy. Taco, flash in. Pitt's gonna dodge that. He's faced into the corner. The shotgun might finally come to fruition, but he can't find the lineup. Does now, and Get Light's got the second member. Cold down instead, but watch Fur wrapping in. Fallen finding a kill. There was an opportunity for him to find a little bit more, and Exist is forced onto the pistol. Forrest is there nonetheless. 14-14.
Here we go. Another pause comes in. Fallen calls it. It's going to be tactical, of course.
I'm not surprised. This is where we're going to start to see them come out back-to-back.
Of course, this is getting to the closing sectors now. Round number 29, it's 14-14. The money's not fantastic. Do they buy into this? It's 4K average across the board. That means you can get an AK head armor, 1 smoke grenade. That's about it. You don't have the Molotov to work with. You definitely don't have the AWP. Time to work out what's the play. Do you allow NIP to get to 15 points here, or do you force it? I think it has to be the latter at this stage, especially when you can get AK's armor and a smoke. It looks like they're going to be going for some utility here. 2 players opting for the Galils. Also, there's an option, that weapon slightly cheaper, coming in at $2,000 when you can get Molotovs, flashbangs, along with the smoke grenade purchased. And here we go then. All roads lead here for Oakland. Is going to be 14-14. It is a buy from SK Gaming. Another pause comes to an end.
And another round or the map where exists Auto Sniper brings them back in. Keep this in mind as well. Columbus, not able to pay with Pith because he joins in after the proceedings of the major and the qualifications went in. I think he played a minor with another team, was actually the exact ruling. So they play with threat, they lose their legendary status. A week later, they go to Malmo, they win the event. They bring him back in this one.
Can you imagine?
Possibility they do the same after winning an event with Michael Ailey as well in the middle of all that.
Very similar situation at this point. If they win this round on NIP, that could be the championship moment.
Forrest just missed an opportunity to try and find a shot down to bottom middle. That's going to force him back inside of the A site, and it allows 3 players from SK to get toward danger. And they're getting a lot of map control to execute with. No rotation coming over from a 3rd player either. So normally when this happens, you rely on a player to get to balcony to cover the cross so one can bait from inside the site. Forrest can't do that. He's had to go to the APC instead as a result. A much more forward position. Fortunately, Smokes won't be out, but misses the shot between 2 of them. Now they know where he is. Back out. Hits the second one. Taco down. And Freiberg wins his battle down at the bottom of middle. Forrest relocating. And relocating into the grave in the end, but job done. He's found 2. That brings Get Right in to find 2 of his own. And they're on map and championship point.
They know what it means. They've really set SK Gaming at this point. There's only going to be $2,400 coming into there. They've got championship point. SK can only really bring Tech-9s into this final round. The job's not done yet, but we're very close to completing it. Round number 30. It was a very simple approach there from SK Gaming, heavily coming towards long A, 1 in middle, just trying to smoke the connector and keep things simple, pushing in as a unit, but Forrest shuts them down. A little bit of help from Get Right as well. And here comes the final buy and the final pause, I believe, as well. So far the purchases come in. Like I said, $2,400 total coming into their bank accounts. They're going to have to get Tech-9s, smokes, and try and see what they can bring to the table here. 1 round required to take it to overtime.
It's the 3rd pause. You say it's the final pause.
But yeah,
you could be right if NIP win.
Yes.
We still have some that could go into overtime as well, possibility, but it's a tough order for SK. They fell short in front of the home crowd. Went out in the quarterfinals, or rather, excuse me, the semifinals in New York. It's been a while since we've seen them dominate.
Wow.
Consistency's there, but domination's not.
So tantalizingly close for an NIP victory here. 5 Tech-9s for the final round here. We know how strong SK are with these weapons. Are they strong enough to take round number 30 here? A very, very tall order.
All on the line. As Taco waits above the smoke at drop. They haven't gone for a fast play there in a while. They're going to do exactly that. FNX is down with him. Get Right's forced out. Double smoke position. He's got to go toward the rocket. They're going to wrap back around behind him. He's not going to react in time. He spots them late. Does get a shot in toward Cole. Finds the kill. But FNX through the door already onto Freiberg, who's got the information. And Forrest the kill as well. Pith, the first one to fall from the NIP side. Get Right's going to join him, but it's down to just Fur. 15 HP inside the connector. NIP have him pinched off. They've got the bomb, and they've got a minute to think about this. Look at Get Right. He's already got one hand in the air. He's waiting for it. He wants that celebration. They want the trophy, and they've got it. NIP will take down SK on the return of Pith.
What a story. Pith's return. After a 3-month absence, and they come back once again and win their 3rd tournament of the year. You can see what it means to them. Very emotional scenes there. Get Right. It looks like he's going to hold it together, Chris.
No, don't let it out. We love to see it. They are the first team. We said it, SK and NIP, the only 2 teams to win 2 $250,000 or plus tournaments this year. They're the first team to pick up 3 you have to consider them continuing to rise as a team after what an atrocious year it was in 2015. This has been an incredible return to form from them. Old guard, old legends. The core six together, the core wins again, and it's IEM Oakland champions in 2017, NIP!
What beautiful balancing. What an amazing grand final we had there. Real emotion as well going on. Just talk me through how you're feeling right now.
It's a mixed emotions. It's a lot of facts that goes in. It's been tough for me personally, so it's very nice, and it's very nice to have Jacob back in the team and everything, and I'm just happy. It's just like that.
Well, you are holding that trophy, the Intel Extreme Masters Oakland 2016 trophy. It was an amazing final, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing. Clearly amazing.
I'm just going to get a word as well. I mean, we heard you being, full of bravado in one of the earlier rounds. You proved that you had what it takes to get through this and take this title.
Yeah, I mean, we had the last two games both ended 16-14. So, I mean, it's just amazing that we have the composure to bring it back. Even though the Cobble, like the last 10 rounds were so close. Like both teams had super low economy. Every round was back and forth, but I'm so proud of my team that we are able to bring it back in this kind of situation as well. We're in a big final in front of all this amazing crowd, so yeah.
And what did it mean as well to beat SK? Because they have steamrolled teams this year, won the last two majors. It's a big thing to beat them because they look good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've had problems. We lost against them in ESL Pro League finals in Brazil. But we wanted revenge. We know that we have the power to beat them, and today we showed it, which is amazing.
In a word, how big is this?
It's fucking huge.
Family show. I think it goes down without saying that you are a massive, massive favorite to win here. So please, Oakland, for the final time, put your hands together for the champions of the Intel Extreme Masters 2016 Oakland, Ninjas in Pyjamas!
As the crowd chants their name, as they have done throughout this tournament. The 2 days in the Oracle Arena, the group stage where NIP barely got through by the skin of their teeth, 3 wins, 2 losses. They come to the playoffs, and as the games get harder, their play gets better. The entire Swedish roster putting everything on the line, both through the semis and that grand final, and they have managed to raise that trophy. Evidently means a lot for the Swedes, besting none other than the defending world champions here on North American soil. It's a big one, there's no doubt about it, and some doubted them, some believed that the Ninjas had what it takes to take it all the way, and a $300,000 tournament under their belt towards the end of 2016 definitely means a lot, Janko. This is big for them.
Of course it does, especially after having Pitt back in the lineup, right? There were a lot of people questioning, okay, do they keep Michaela? They've been looking really good. What happens now? Will they keep playing well? And I think this just, proves the point to everyone out there that with NIP, it's not necessarily about one player. It's about the system that they have in place right now, and it's how they actually believe in it, and they work much better as a team. And when they have their old teammate back, you can see how things can work really, really well for them.
Sam, SK took them all away, but Ninjas on Cobble, a map that's been incredibly evasive as you put them head-to-head, and NIP for the first time take SK on Cobblestone. What better time than now?
That was just such a good game, and I just got so caught up in the moment, Alex. Like, I was barely even watching from any type of an analytical standpoint, because every round was so close. I mean, it came down to the final round, but that was like a Henry G wet dream right there. I mean, Nip wins 16-14. Freiburg goes nuts. Best player in the server.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
SK have won all 3 best-of-3 series against the Ninjas in Pyjamas so far, and all of them ended in 2 wins, or rather 2-1. Cobblestone was always the decider, and now NIP prevail. Right towards the end of the year, it's a big victory for them, and I think the point that does bear repeating is that it's a statement that this roster change, or I say roster change, the return of Pitt was not in vain. Already they managed to lift the trophy so soon after getting him back in the roster. It's big.
That major qualifier will be lots of fun, Alex. Lots of fun. NIP is in the major qualifier, Cloud9 is in the qualifier, FaZe is in the qualifier, like a bunch of these teams. That can be an arena event in itself, how much the scene is competitive right now, that anyone can beat pretty much anyone. Now, as we see the stats, I mean, FNX had an extremely good series, a player that we, again, don't mention that often when it comes to SK, but that's very interesting when you look at the stats across the board, that it was more or less even with NIP, with Forest continuing to have a very good performance throughout the tournament.
As well, some incredible individuals. We do focus on SK, if not just for a moment. Some clutches from Taco, some aces from him earlier on in the tournament. The individuals from SK, there is not one name that we did not find ourselves shouting and screaming about at one point, Sam. Every single member of the Brazilian roster showed us why they're considered some of the world's best.
Oh yeah, that 3K P250 round by Taco, that was disgusting.
The 1v2 with the Molotov.
I know, he played great. He definitely had his moments. FNX really stepped up though, you know, in this best of 3. I know obviously they didn't win, but he was very quiet in the semifinals. Played really well though in that series.
Just to talk about the game itself for a bit, you could see how NIP and that methodical playstyle, why Cobble is maybe even the best map to do it, because there are so little openings for the CT side, so little room for aggression. You can see they were constantly, in the beginning of the round, going towards that A bomb site, towards A long, taking control of that. Even if they want to finish on the A bomb site or they want to go back, they take that for map control. And even when SK sent 3 players there aggressively, still clearing it properly, using your flashes and Molotovs properly, they couldn't defend it even with that.
Well, they silenced Fallen's off, which was like a key to victory for me. I mean, at one point, I think he was 1-8. He was having a lot of trouble at long A. They did a great job taking map control from him, and that was one of the things that really stopped that SK CT side from succeeding, because he generally plays it pretty aggressively.
An aggressive Fallen shut down, but also you have to acknowledge that the playstyle you anticipated to see, Dave.
Oh, not even close to what I thought I was going to see from SK. But that's kind of what happens when you go down 5-10 at the first half. You come into that second half, you don't want to play and risk doing like fast, bursty shots. And those didn't really work for them either when they even tried it later on in the half. The slow, methodical playstyle that we saw on Cash was what translated to a good T side for SK. And then as soon as they tried to switch it up, it didn't work for him. Nip was ready for it.
Nip was ready for an awful lot of things. I mean, if you review this series as a whole, then if you step away from Cobble and actually look at the full 3 maps, it started with the veto process. Janko, we were quite critical of it at one point, but we did get to see one of the closest grand finals we've had in a great deal of time.
Yeah, maybe a bit questionable for some, but looking back, even at that point, we were not as surprised, right? You would think it's very shocking when a team doesn't veto the map they've been vetoing for the last 6 months, but considering recent results of SK on Nuke and how NIP has been playing on it throughout the tournament and generally, it does make sense. And they did put up a very, very good fight on Cash. So all things considered, I think the veto process is all right. Maybe you would just wonder what happens if NIP vetoes Train and they play Mirage. So in the end, it came down to what we were thinking. Teams trade maps, and it comes down to the decider. And NIP just barely edged SK out.
And that's the point we have to make. You forget about Train. SK, world class, the very best team on Train, almost unbeatable at points. In fact, they haven't lost since the 3rd season of ESL Pro League Finals. We've just concluded our 4th season. That's how long ago their Train has been this damn good. But apart from that, we saw 2 30-round games, 2 30-round maps. Both Cash and Cobble going all the way. And that's probably where some of this emotion, some of this celebration comes from the Ninjas in Pyjamas, because you had to work so hard. I mean, not only are they playing this grand final, they're fresh off of their semi-final, going full 3 maps versus FaZe Clan. It couldn't be any more of a hard graft, and I think we have to give a couple of words, starting with you, Sam, about the amount of endurance necessary to be doing that on that stage for however long they just did.
I mean, they must have been at such high emotions when it was, 14-14. It was just everything. It takes everything out of you, because those very final rounds on Cash and Cobblestone, you're living and dying with every single kill and death that is happening. We saw Get Right in the player cam. I mean, you rarely see a Get Right that emotional, I think. Usually he's just like a rock. Sure. Of course, at the end of the tournament, he does get emotional, but during the game even, I mean, it definitely took a lot out of them. They played, 6 maps, a very hard-fought series against FaZe, and then down to the nail on Cash and Cobblestone.
Yanko, the tournament as a whole. NIP are champions. You've been with us for the playoffs. It is coming to a close with a Swedish name inscribed onto that trophy.
I think it shows that it's pretty much open season out there when it comes to tournaments, right? 7 previous major tournaments, 7 different winners. NIP was one of them in Kiev. Now they take another tournament, so it has to become a bit more clear-cut coming into the major. There are a lot of teams that have, not major flaws, but they need to polish certain things. With SK, it comes to their maps, figuring out, besides Train, what is their second strongest map, and so forth. So I think it's super, super interesting right now in the CES scene.
Yeah, our scene just gets better and better. It's like a fine wine. And Sam, it's just the start of your desk career. Hopefully we get to have you some more. You've had some fun?
Yeah, this was a great time. This was a great experience. Just thank you guys for having me. Thank you for IEM, and thank you to all the fans here for having me, because this crowd has been great.
The crowd was great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we got some NIP chants towards the end. And in the tournament as a whole, you were there from the very start, that group stage. Yes, some of the results were a little one-sided, but even then, the teams that were picking up these results, the wins themselves, it was from day one full of twists and turns and that unpredictable nature that Yanko's talking about.
Oh, it was absolutely unpredictable. I mean, there was times where we were just scratching our heads like, what is going on?
Right.
Even when teams beat another team on one map and then they replayed them, it seemed like the team that lost the first time always won the second time. It was so hard to predict, and that's just the state of Counter-Strike going back to the 7 different winners in these past tournaments that we're at right now. Everybody is so good, it is so hard to win a tournament, and the level of competition is just so high.
I mean, we had 5 best-of-3s in this playoffs, and 3 of them went all 3 maps. That's how close this was. The grand final was no exception. We saw overtimes. We saw players that we were worried about, concerned about their performance, perhaps even that they had their position on the team questioned, and then they just go and drop bombs. Great to see FNX from SK dropping it. We get to see Freiburg as well lifting that trophy, and generally we have had a great time here at the Intel Extreme Masters Oakland. We are just trying to get hold of the Ninjas in Pyjamas, so if you want to hear some words from them, do not go anywhere. We'll be jumping in with them in just a moment. But if you do reflect upon not just this NIP run, but if you actually look at the storylines we witnessed here, not only Swedes lifting the trophy, but also we have more teams to put onto this list of scary teams. FaZe Clan, Astralis, G2 are a question mark. There is a lot we've learned throughout this week that we have to look forward to coming into the next. I think there's 3 more tournaments this year.
I mean, look at how far we've come from this summer, Alex. When we got back from the players' break, we started the online part of Pro League, and we were sitting there and saying, man, these teams are so sloppy.